Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Real Deal Talk. An extra special welcome today because I have in the studio my fellow brother in Christ, fellow entrepreneur, fellow veteran of the United States military.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. My man, AJ Schackman, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, bro.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, brother.
Let's go. I'm really excited about this. AJ and I have been leading and serving at Awaken Church, North San Marcos, for the last 4 seasons? 3?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Yep.
You were an apprentice before that.
Correct.
I was one of your leaders during that season. That's how you and I met.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
I go way back a few seasons prior to that since I was an apprentice. But AJ, I'm really this was kind of on the fly here. You were on my list, just so you know.
Let's go.
The podcast list. It was just a matter of when the Holy Spirit nudged me that you were up. And of course, this week was kind of on the fly. I said, "Hey, can you make it happen?" He said, "I'm in." So welcome once again, man. Appreciate you. Love you and your family. In fact, folks, this guy, I'm really excited about this. Not only to dig into the mortgage kind of business here. He's been a mortgage broker for the past, is it 15 years?
10 years.
10 years.
10
okay,
years.
so married for right around 15, 14 married.
Yep.
10 years as a mortgage broker.
Yep.
He has his own company, Exceed Financing. All things mortgages, lending. He is the man. He's one of the top guys in all of Awaken, all of San Diego right now. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. We're going to dig into his family life, and the reason why is because he has 5 children.
Let's go.
And I don't think they're done yet. Are you done yet?
We'll see. Jamie wants more. We'll see.
Jamie wants more.
Jamie wants
and
more,
his wife, Jamie,
Yeah,
married
yeah.
for 14 years. She's absolutely amazing. She was an apprentice as
Savage,
well.
yeah.
She's a savage.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to be a savage to
Yeah.
be an entrepreneur, is to have 5 freaking children.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to dig into your family life and how you manage that.
Yeah.
And you've got like a farm. You've got animals on there, pigs, cows. What do you got on there?
Yeah, we have steers, horse, chickens, dogs, cat. We got it all, dude.
And so you're basically growing your own meat.
Yeah,
Is this right?
Yeah.
So he was, oh gosh, this is, yeah. He wanted to show me the video of.
I was like, dude, you got to see it.
Yeah, the cow being slaughtered.
Yeah.
Don't you tell the kids don't get too attached to the.
Yeah, you kind of explain. It's like, hey, this is the purpose that this animal is serving. You go to the grocery store and the meat is nice and packaged, so you're kind of removed from this whole process. But it's like, hey, we're going to be doing that here, and so try not to get too attached because eventually Tomahawk's going to be in the freezer.
That's what you named the last one, Tomahawk.
Yeah, Tomahawk, yeah.
And you have another one. What's the name of that one?
So it's a Wagyu cross, so we named that one Wags.
Wags.
So, yeah.
How long has Wags got on the?
He's got a couple months on him.
How don't you get attached? Do you pet him? Do you pet the cow? Like, do you?
No, the cows don't really let you come close.
Oh, really?
At least ours. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's kind of easy. Just don't get attached,
It's hilarious. All right, so here's how we do it. You know this. Let's go back. Let's get some backstory here because I know you're a veteran of the Marines, right? Where were you born and raised?
Born in Minnesota. Grew up in the suburbs of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and was one of 6 kids. So had kind of that upbringing. And it's kind of interesting. People ask me, it's like, did you always want like a big family, coming from a big family? And I didn't really think about it that much. And then me and Jamie had our first daughter, Victoria, 15 years ago. When we were young. I was a senior in high school. So it was just kind of like thrust.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
33,
Yeah.
and you have a 16-year-old.
15.
15.
Yeah.
15.
Yep. 10th grader.
So this was in high school.
In high school. I was 17 when she was born. So
How old was Jamie?
She was 18. I turned 18 2 weeks after Victoria was born. So I'm a senior in high school. So just kind of like thrust into having kids. And
So I'm assuming that wasn't like planned.
no, not planned.
At 17.
Not planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, bro. I didn't even do the math.
Yep.
See, look at this. This is great already.
Come on.
Okay, so what happened? Give me life, like and hold on. I'm already shooting out. I'm already jumping ahead here. Hold on a second. Go back to childhood a little bit before we jump on the 17-year-old dad
Yeah.
tip, because that's insane. It's incredible. I can't wait to fly with that. Childhood, parents together, 6 brothers, sisters, everything was flowing nicely. Good household. Give me the whole thing.
Yeah, parents were together. So I have 2 half siblings, so we share the same mom. So, and they're both older. So my brother, he's 10 years older than me, so didn't really grow up with him. He was out of the house by the time I was 8. Same with my sister. So it was really just kind of like the 4. So I have 2 sisters, 3 brothers. I'm right there in the middle. So yeah, we grew up in suburban Minnesota and played sports, baseball, football. Played football in high school.
What was your favorite football?
Football. Yeah.
What were you because you're like 6'1",
6'1".
Were you big in high school?
Yeah, I was big.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I was on the O line, D line.
Oh yeah, of course.
Just in the trenches.
What was your weight as a high school and senior?
Senior, I was 230.
230.
6'1", 230.
In high school, that's big.
Yeah.
Like our biggest guy was about 220.
Yeah.
All right, so football was your favorite. Parents were together.
Any
Any childhood things that you can remember that happened that was monumental to your growth of when you kind of maybe matured, became more confident? Anything that happened during the childhood that you can put a finger on? Any monumental moments?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was homeschooled for up until like 7th grade, and I just remember like, you have like the neighborhood friends, and just kind of what we did in our neighborhood is bikes and building jumps and dirt biking and having fun doing all that. I just remember like wanting like more friends, and it was like I want to play football, I want to get into school, and so that kind of getting into it, I was like the weird kind of like homeschool Christian kid.
So you grew up in a Christian household.
Grew up in a Christian household.
And now most of the people in the neighborhood were going to public school.
Public school. Yeah, it was all public school.
And so you had were there other kids being homeschooled that you knew? Were those your friends or?
So not like in the town that we grew up in. So we would do kind of like every other month, go to this kind of like co-op thing where we would meet up with other homeschooled families. But they were all like, I don't know, not to like give a bad name to homeschool. And I think it's changed over the years, but this is like, 90s, early 2000s. The homeschool kids were weird. I was like, dude, these people are like, these are not my friends. I don't want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was just like, hey, I want to get into school. So started.
Were you begging your parents?
I was begging. I was like, when can I go to school?
What about your brothers and sisters? Were they feeling the same way?
Yeah. So we all kind of started public school at different grades, different ages. My sister, I think she started in 8th grade. She was a couple years older than me, and then 7th grade. And I was like, just get me in,
and so
in there.
Now, were you realizing that something was different about your family? Like, wait a minute, why are all these kids, mom, dad, they're going to normal schools? Why am I being homeschooled? Like, what? Give me the point of view as a child being homeschooled. I've never actually dug into this, but now that we're on this topic,
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fascinated to know, because you don't know any better. You know how as kids, we're programmed by our parents one way or another. So you're programmed to start homeschooling.
Yep.
When did you realize, or do you remember realizing, wait a minute, this isn't, why are the other kids going to school and I'm not?
Yeah, it was about like 6th grade. Because early on, like you said, that's just what we grew up with. It's what we know. It was actually kind of awesome because we're like not, in retrospect, I'm like, oh, that was like the way to do it. And we actually homeschool our kids. And we can get into that too.
Yeah, of course.
But, so, it was kind of like self-taught, so there was 4 of us, 4 kids. And, my mom would, do certain things, but a lot of it was self-taught. And like, hey, here's the workbook, read the lesson. And we were done with school in like a couple hours. And so then we were just off, building forts, building jumps, like just being outdoor kids, riding bikes around. We had our little crew or little biker gang.
Oh, yeah.
Just building jumps and getting after it.
I love that.
But yeah, it was like, I think around 6th grade, recognizing. I think my sister went to school too, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to like be.
Did she push? Is that why she went to school?
Yeah, same. Everyone was just like, this has been, fine up until this point, but just kind of like the social aspect. I just like wanted to, have, friends that
Normal, non-homeschooled.
No, that sounds so funny, but yeah, normal, like not these kind of just like dorky, kind of weirdos. At least in my mind, that's what I viewed. It was like I just want to be normal. So that was kind of that first year. Was definitely like insecure.
Did your parents fight it at first? Like, no, we're good.
Yeah, it was more like, hey, like this is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like hey, they wanted to like kind of raise us up in a certain way before they kind of released us.
Yeah.
So there was never like, this is when it's going to happen for you.
Right.
But I was really pushing, especially I wanted to play football. So it just kind of made sense there in kind of junior high, 7th grade.
And so you started so then did you look at schools? Was it a public school, a Christian school?
Public school, Farmington High School. Right in.
Okay, so give me do you remember the first year? Like what happened? Were you nervous, insecure?
Yeah, nervous, insecure. Like I didn't know. I was like the new kid. I remember we weren't allowed to date. So this story sticks with me. It's really funny.
Here we go.
We weren't allowed to date, and there was this girl who had taken a liking to me, but I had no interest at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like
6th, 7th grade? What's grade?
Yeah, 7th grade.
7th grade.
So I go to my dad. I'm like, Dad, this girl's like asking me out. I know we're not allowed to date, but like, there's no chance even if we could. Like, I'm not interested in her at all. So I go, just be honest, tell her the truth. So I like write this letter or like this note, like, hey, thank you, appreciate it.
Appreciate your interest.
Appreciate your interest, but I'm okay. Actually, I'm not allowed to date, and I'm gonna honor my parents. I remember like my dad kind of coached me through that, like just be honest. And she just like she got it, and then just started laughing in my face, and then like started passing it around to everybody, like, oh, AJ's a mama's boy, kind of thing. So there was like this kind of.
Did you go to your dad? Dad.
I was like, Dad, you
set me up, bro.
You set me up, dude. Now everyone thinks I'm this weird homeschooled Christian mama's boy. So
when in essence you're just trying to be nice.
Just trying to be nice and like didn't want to be like.
You could have told her, listen, I ain't interested.
Yeah, I was like, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I should have done that, but. So it's I think at that moment it was.
Were you humiliated? Did you feel terrible? Was everybody making fun of you?
Not everybody, but yeah, there was like certain people would make fun of me about that. And
mama's boy.
And then like as we're like talking about this, and I haven't thought about this in a long time, but that was like kind of like an injection point of like me caring about what people think about me.
Yeah.
And like really, it's kind of like we talk about like fear of man now. When I'm in 7th grade, I didn't have that language for it, but it's like this kind of like fear of man or caring what the world thinks about me. It was kind of like this fracture point. And then so, I just kind of, from that point on, tried to be kind of friends with everybody, chameleon, all the different, friend groups, I could hang out with the jocks and the skaters and the, whoever it was, and could kind of fit in, and was just friends with everybody, and
so the girl, what happened? So then she passed the note around, made fun.
Yeah.
Did she ever show interest in you again, or no? That was it. Did she come back around?
Yeah, she came back around.
Of course,
yeah, of course, right? You want what you can't have.
That's right. That's right. I was gonna say it most likely made her more interested.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just different,
Did you say, hey, well, you freaking made fun of me. Now you want to come back? Did that happen?
Not that I don't know. Not that I remember. I was just kind of just moved on. Like, you know, I had no interest in you before, and now you did that, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna move on, move away from that. Yeah.
And so, so then, were you like excited? Now you had more friends.
Yeah, more friends. Loved being around people. Loved, loved being in football. Like that was the key.
So you joined the team right away.
Yeah, that was 7th grade. Played all the way through high school.
So 7th grade was Pop Warner though, right?
We didn't call it Pop Warner.
No.
It was like through the school, like
Okay.
Farmington,
You started right away.
middle school.
As soon as you got there, 7th grade.
7th grade.
And you loved it right away.
Loved it. Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So then you go to high school.
Yep.
Okay, so give me high school.
High school was, so I was a really good student. Even if I hated the subject, I just remember being bummed getting like B's.
Yeah.
I was like one of those kids up until 9th grade. And then I don't know what happened in 9th grade. I just kind of stopped caring about, I think I realized, I was like, dude, we're getting all this homework and it's just like, fill out this packet. I'm not really learning. I don't care about any of this stuff. So starting in 9th grade, fell into like this crowd, this group of friends. And that's kind of when that was my rebellion era.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of got sick of I wanted to date girls. We couldn't date. So I was dating girls behind my parents' back.
Oh, you were?
Oh, yeah.
Do they know this to this day?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They do?
Yeah. Well, it eventually got to the point where, so I started smoking weed in 9th grade. I started smoking cigarettes in 10th grade. And then I think in 11th grade, I was with my mom and I was just kind of like sick of lying.
Yeah.
I was just like lying about what I was doing, where I was at, and just kind of like, I was like, hey, Mom, I got to be honest with you. It's like, I smoke weed, I smoke cigarettes. You probably smell it on me anyway. I have a girlfriend, just kind of like got it out in the open.
What year was this? Sophomore?
Yeah, that was, probably sophomore, 10th grade.
10th grade.
10th grade.
Okay, where were you when you told her this stuff? Like in a car?
No, it was in our kitchen at our house.
Okay, what happened?
She was like, well, I kind of suspected, and thanks for being honest, and that was it.
And so, when you started dating, what does dating mean?
Yeah, just exclusive, having a girlfriend, holding hands, hanging out.
Where would you go? How would you keep that secret?
So,
what was the first girlfriend's name? Do you know? Can we?
Sarah. 9th grade. It's just like you're making out in between class by the lockers. It's like at school, Mom's not around, or in the summertime, hey, I'm going to my buddy Perry's house, but it's actually Sarah's house. Just kind of going to the movies. Hey, it's a group of friends, but it's not.
And back. So were there cell phones back then? I can't even.
Yeah, we had like a Samsung kind of flip, like T9 text.
Oh, yeah. You
gotta click through.
Correct.
it.
Yeah. Because there's no there's no GPS stuff back then, right? Because now I can see where the kids are by their phone.
Yeah. So we had it was like MapQuest. You print it off.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
No.
MapQuest on the computer, print off the instructions, and you're like trying to read. Or
oh my God.
I think Garmin's the Garmin GPS attachments came out. But yeah, I didn't get a cell phone until I was like halfway into being 16, got my license. Like, all right, you can have a phone now.
Yeah.
So I remember like 9th, 10th grade, like borrowing my mom's cell phone and like texting girls on it and deleting
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
And did your dad know that you were dating?
No, it wasn't until I kind of, bared all. I was like, hey, I'm carrying all this, I'm sick of keeping up with the lies. I just got to tell you.
Keeping up with the lies.
Yeah, man. When you're lying, dude, it's hard to be a liar, man.
It is.
It
totally is.
It's better just to tell the truth
because you don't even know who you lied.
Or what you said, and people are coming back and like, hey, you said that. I was like,
yeah, but you said this.
It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. But
and then what happened to grades? Grades started going down.
Yeah, I just stopped caring. Grades started going down. I always knew that I was going to join the Marine Corps.
You did?
Yeah.
At what age? How did you know that?
Probably like 10.
10?
Yeah, dude. I loved war. It was interesting. So my parents were kind of strict. And I remember like we couldn't read Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Or like Pokemon had just came out. And that was, it's like you're not doing Pokemon. Stay away from the kind of the witchcraft stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember watching Saving Private Ryan with my dad, and I think I was like 8 years old, and just like that opening scene.
Oh my gosh!
But just like
insane.
The service to country and camaraderie. I was just really drawn to that. I was playing. People played cops and robbers. We would play like I'm storming Normandy. Just like with pretend guns at a young age, and was just really drawn to it. And I remember there was an old recruiting commercial of this guy like climbing a mountain, slaying the dragon, and then it flips to him wearing the dress blues, and I was like,
yeah,
that's it.
You loved it.
Loved it. And then my older brother, Patrick, he's 10 years older than me. He joined the Marine Corps. So he was 18, I was 8. He came back, and I was like, yeah, that's the branch that I'm gonna join. So, you know, like college, you know, there was one point I thought I wanted to be a doctor. You just think about, you know, who makes money,
right.
like doctor, lawyer, maybe I'd do that. But it's like, as I started, just kind of like fell into, like, I just wanted to like have fun in high school and hang out and do.
Because you knew you were going to Marines anyway.
I was going to the Marine Corps, didn't really, you know, care about it anymore. And then started dating Jamie, trying to get all the years,
the chronological.
The chronological.
So 15, you dated Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah, there was another.
Do you ever?
No.
Do you know where she's at?
No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Okay. Maybe she'll see this podcast.
Maybe. Shout out Sarah.
Shout out Sarah.
Yeah, I had
so sophomore year, couple others,
and then Jamie I was a kind of like the beginning of my junior.
And she was a senior.
And she was a senior.
Okay, so how did that go? Like, how did that happen?
So we, like being in football, so I was on varsity my junior year. And so that was just kind of like the crew that we hung out with, and, you know, older kids, seniors hanging out. So just kind of a overlap of friend groups. And then I remember being at a hockey game. So kind of backing up, me and Jamie had a class together when I was a sophomore, and she was a junior. It was a math class, and we did not like each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, because I was like a skate, you know, hung out with like skaters, and at the time skinny jeans were in, so I'm wearing like.
Were they really?
Yeah, skinny jeans, and they're back in.
They're back.
They need. Well, I know you're a skinny jean.
I'm a skinny jean guy. I love skinny jeans, dude.
I don't got the legs for it.
Never thought I'd ever in a million freaking years. And I'm where I love them.
So yeah, and she was like a cheerleader, kind of like popular girl, and yeah, we just kind of butted heads in this classroom. So it wasn't until like a year later, we were at a hockey game, Farmington High School hockey.
So you butted heads. What do you mean you butted heads?
Yeah, you know, she would just like we're in class and she's like interrupting, so I'd be like, dude, you got to stop talking, like shut up, kind of deal. So it was just, and she's like, who are you know?
She was one of those that had to answer every question, or
no, not. She would just be like interrupting, like talking, jaw jacking, talking, you know. And I'm like, dude, this is math. I gotta I gotta listen. So yeah, we kind of butted heads a little bit. You know, she was just like, who is this weirdo in the skinny jeans? And I had longer hair at the time. She was just like a preppy cheerleader, popular girl.
Of course.
So like a year later, we were at a hockey game, and I was hanging out with a buddy, and he started talking to Jamie, and I was like, okay, Jamie, what's up? You know, kind of just like, I don't know, I kind of grew out of this, skinny jean wearing phase or whatever, and she came up to me, and this was Blackberries were like the hot thing.
Of course.
She's like, hey, I got a new Blackberry. I was like, yeah, you should put my number in it. And then we started talking. We started talking that night. Just kind of hit it off, and that was when we met and kind of got together.
So between the class where you're butting heads, and a year later, what happened between there? Any interactions?
No,
nothing.
Zero.
Would you even see her in school?
Yeah, I see her in school, but
Would you give her a nod?
Nothing. It was just kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're at this hockey game, and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
What was the?
Jamie's kind of hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you realize she was?
Well, she was. She at the time. Like, she was like that. She was a hot popular.
So then you're like,
girl.
all right, maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah, well, shoot my shot here. See what's up with Jamie.
See what's up with Jamie.
Yeah.
So she comes over with the Blackberry.
Dude. And I remember I had like a white Samsung flip.
Oh man, awful.
She's got the Blackberry.
Whoa.
Yeah,
big time,
dude. Yeah.
So you said you should put my number in there?
Yeah, you should put my number.
Not the other way around. You didn't get her number.
Hey, I was young. I was homeschooled. You
were confident. You were confident. Yeah, get my number if you want to call me. Maybe I'll see you.
Yeah, and then she texted me that night.
She texted you that night.
Yeah.
So, but when you gave her the number, what did you say then? Did you say, "Hey, let's hang out sometime"? Did you throw anything out there?
Yeah, I was like, we should hang out, and we kind of hung out for the rest of the night. We just kind of like, it was like a group of friends, but at the hockey game, just hanging out. And then it was like, gave her a hug as we were leaving. It's like, text me sometime, and then she texted me that night.
You said text me sometime.
Yeah. So
she texted you. What do you remember? What she said? Do you remember the text?
All I remember, she was like at a party.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was at a party. She's like, you should come through, I think. And I was like, nah, I don't want to come through. I don't know. I had stuff going on.
Jamie, we're going to need to verify this story here. So far, he's saying that
this is a long time ago. It's blurry.
Here we go. Basically, what he's saying is he threw the number at you.
It might have been the other way.
Oh, no, here we go. And it was all about you texting him making the first move. Is that what we're saying here, that she made the first move?
Yeah, we'll say that, and then we might need a redaction, something. I don't know. In my mind, that's how
in your
went.
mind.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to the bottom of this story. So Jamie basically pursued AJ. This is for the record.
Well, no, I pursued her. Like, I went up to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went up to her, and then she was like, "Hey, I got this BlackBerry.
All right.
Get her on the pod.
Get her on get her on the pod.
Expose it.
She's on the list now. She's going to be coming in 2 weeks to verify the story, because everybody's going to be really.
Yeah.
They need to know.
Yeah, they need to.
They're going to need to know.
Very important
this
stuff.
Very important stuff right here. These people are learning. These are pearls for people.
Yeah, okay.
But this actually is important, because it's very, very rare for people, high school, quote unquote, high school sweethearts. That's a thing. And to this day and age, it's more and more rare.
Totally.
So this is why I'm digging into the story so much, because I'm fascinated by this, the fact that you guys were high school sweethearts, how it happened, where did it go from there, and then all of a sudden to have a child in high school.
Yeah.
All right, so she texts you that night. Says, come through. You said, nah. I'm good. No, I'm good.
I'll see you next week or something.
All right. So where did it go from there?
I think, just so we stayed.
She continued to pursue you heavily, right?
Yeah. She was after me, bro. Beat her away with a stick.
You had to fight her off.
I can't date you. I'm not allowed to date. No.
No, that wasn't happening on this one.
Not on this one. No. We were a young man at this point. I was making my own decisions. So yeah, I think that night we stayed up it was like one of those things. We just stayed up all night texting and just kind of getting to know each other. And then our first date, we went to a mall, went shopping.
Okay, so how did that happen? Did you ask her to the date?
I did. You did. I asked her to the date.
What'd you say? Hey, let's go to the mall.
Yeah, I was like, because growing up where we grew up, there wasn't a ton to do, and I was like, you go to the mall, or I don't know if we went to the Mall of America, but that's like this, giant mall, and you go to the mall. I think it was wintertime too. So snow, it's cold, not a ton to do.
Right.
So yeah, went to the mall.
You said, hey, let's go to the mall.
Let's go to the mall. Let's hang out.
How long after the texting night did that happen? About a week?
Yeah, a week, 2 weeks. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty quick.
But you were in school at this time, right?
In school, yeah.
So did you see her the next day at school after the texting thing? After she wouldn't stop blowing up your phone?
Yeah. Man, dude, I'm trying to go back and...
You could get in trouble here, too, bro, if you don't remember this stuff.
Yeah.
Because she's like, what? You don't remember?
Yeah, she remembers it all.
She remembers it all?
I think that was
because
probably
you were vaguely interested at this point.
No, I was very interested.
Okay, all right. That's good. We got that out there.
She was smoking hot, and I was like, dude, Jamie, come on.
Let's go. All right.
So yeah, it might have been like a Friday, we, going into.
Were you now talking in school?
Talking in school, kind of hanging out, and like I said, we had kind of overlap of friend groups. Right. She was, cheerleader, football, so all of our friends kind of overlapped.
Gotcha.
So
okay, so you went to the mall.
Went to the mall, hanging out. What do you want to know?
Keep going, bro. I'm hanging on the edge of my seat here, dude, because this is. Because clearly something happened because you had a child.
Right. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
You want to get to that part. So yeah,
I'm working my way there.
So became exclusive.
Okay.
And then it was.
Did you tell your parents you had a new girlfriend?
Yeah, new girlfriend, and then.
Was she Christian?
She grew up Christian, but she was
not practicing.
Not practicing.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. And I grew up kind of in this kind of like a legalistic church. You know, and that's kind of like where the no dating came from, was this church. And
yeah,
at this point, I kind of stopped going. I was like, you know, I don't care about this anymore. I wanted, you know, I didn't want to be convicted because I was off doing my own thing, having sex and, you know, drinking and partying, and it was like that. And Jamie was doing the same.
Yeah.
So kind of fast forward, we go to prom. It's Jamie's senior prom. So, you know, she's over at the house, and I can't remember the first time my parents met her. It had to have been before that, but doing math. I'm a finance guy. We do math. Prom night is probably the night that Victoria was.
Are you serious?
Was created. Yeah, I think it was prom night. Because she was.
That's like a thing.
Yeah, dude.
Like this is out of the movie.
This is out of the. I'm a statistic. I'm in the, you know, straight out of the movies.
Yeah, prom night, like literally prom night.
Prom night, just, you know, not thinking, drinking a little too much, and pretty sure.
Yeah, this is like a thing, like in the movies, like it happened on prom night.
It happened on prom night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you find out?
I was working at Walmart, and Jamie texted me.
How long after?
It had to have been maybe a month after.
A month after.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you're at Walmart now. I don't want to get too much because you know, but listen, this is what this is all about.
Right.
Like, was it more than like between then and finding out? You still, you know, doing the thing here? Or is, you know what I'm saying? Like, was prom night the one night deal, or?
No, it was like a regular, you know, that we were dating together, hanging out all the time.
Hanging out, quote unquote, hanging out.
Hanging out, you know.
With the wink.
Hanging out. Yeah. Netflix and chilling was not a thing back then.
No.
But more or less that.
So a month later, she texts you.
Yeah.
What did the text say?
Because I was at work, and I think it was like, hey, we need to talk or something like that, because I was working.
Just, we need to talk.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it said. I think it was like we need to talk about something. It wasn't like, hey, I'm pregnant in the text.
Yeah.
She told me on the phone. I called her.
Did you know something was up then?
I knew something was up.
Did you kind of a feeling?
I had a feeling. I was like, dude.
And this interview is brought to you by Real Deal Wellness. This is a company my wife and I just launched, Real Deal Wellness. It's a membership base. We're charging the lowest price that has ever been offered for wellness in San Diego in history. You're going to get cryotherapy, red light therapy, infrared sauna, compression therapy, and halo therapy, which is dry salt therapy. Real Deal Wellness. You can go to our website, realdealwellness.net. Also, subscribe to the channel, share it, like it. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a nice day.
I didn't suspect that.
Yeah.
I knew something.
Yeah.
I was like, this is serious. So then she calls me and then tells me, like, I'm pregnant. So I tell my boss, I was like, I have things that I need to deal with in the middle of my shift. And so left.
What was your feeling when she told you, like, right out what was your straightforward, how did you feel at that exact moment?
It felt surreal. It didn't feel real. I was like, you know, you never think that that's going to happen to you, you know, because, you know, there was, you know, people that we had known. I remember there was a story, you know, we were like in 8th grade, and there was a girl in 8th grade that got pregnant. We're like, whoa, you know, that's wild.
Yeah.
You know, it's never going to happen to me. And so it was surreal. On the drive over, it was like, I'm processing. It was like, my life is going to change forever. Immediately. And I don't know kind of the direction that it's going to go, or it can change in a lot of different ways, and just a lot of uncertainty. But yeah, processing it, and then met up with Jamie, and we're talking. And in that moment, she was like, hey, I just want to let you know that, like, I'm probably going to keep this baby, and here's kind of your out. So, like, you know, if you want, you don't have to be in our lives at all. So that's like such a heavy.
She pretty much said that.
She said exactly that. Like, I'm keeping the baby. You can, if you want to be in this with me, great. If not, you know, I know we're in high school. Like, you know, here's your out, kind of thing.
Wow.
So I'm like 17. I'm like processing this. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So I tell my parents, you know, get to that moment. I'm like, all right, dude, I gotta tell my parents.
So were you like, I mean, this must be just nuts. Like you said, surreal.
Surreal, yeah. It feels like a dream thinking about it. It's like, it's wild to think that, kind of went through that.
And so when did you tell your parents? Were you like, were you thinking my parents are going to freaking kill me? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I knew, yeah,
well,
they're going to be pissed.
Like a million reasons.
A million reasons.
Christians.
Yeah, Christians.
Playing house, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Before marriage.
Yeah.
17.
And going back to it, so like my mom, her first kid, my half sister, she had her when she was 17.
She did.
And then she had my brother like 2 years later. I think she was like 18 or 19 with a different guy.
Mm.
And then she eventually married my dad and had the rest of the 4. But it was one of those things where they grew up a certain way, found Jesus, and were like trying to do the right thing, or at least what they knew. Like they did the best with what they knew at the time of like, I'm trying to prevent this from happening because I'm seeing what it's done in my life.
Right.
And her first daughter, same thing. So there's kind of like this teen pregnancy theme in the family.
Yeah.
So her first daughter, my older sister, had her first child when she was 17.
Really?
Yeah. And so she's 12 years older than me. So I remember I was like an uncle. I think I'm like 9 years older than my oldest niece, right? So I'm like an uncle at 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
So it was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So my parents were like, doing the, had these boundaries or like these guidelines, like, hey, you're in my house, like you're going to follow these rules for, certain reasons. Right. So I knew it was going to be like, they were wanting to prevent this from happening. And then I'm coming to them like, hey, it happened.
It happened. So the whole time that your parents are, got the guidelines and everything, you obviously well knew that she had a baby at 17 years old.
Yep.
Okay. Was that ever like an issue? Like, Mom, why are you teaching me this? I can't date, but you had a baby at 17. Was that ever even a thought process? That makes sense?
Totally. Yeah. I remember having a conversation like that of like, I literally was like, I'm not going to be you. I remember saying that.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not going to be you. Like, stop worrying about it.
Yeah. Like I can date, but don't worry.
Don't worry. I'm not going to do that. It's not going to be me. And then here I am, tail tucked, Mom, Dad. So I remember
after you got the news that night, how long did it take you to tell him?
I think it was probably 2 weeks. I think Jamie confirmed with some pregnancy tests.
Yep.
We went to
blood test.
We went to a spot. I called my older brother. Was like, hey, I told him first. He was like the first one in my family I told. He's like, all right, bro, I'm here, support you, but you got to tell Mom and Dad. You have to tell them. I'm like, all right. So sit him down. It was 2 weeks after I got that initial call from Jamie. We sat down. And we're in the garage at the Farmington house. And
garage? Why the garage?
I think it was like a Saturday. My dad was doing some work out there, and I wanted we didn't have like a huge house, and I wanted to, have a spot of like, privacy. I didn't want my like brothers to.
Plus the garage door, so you could run if you had to.
Right. Yeah. Both exits were open. Like, I'm out of here. So it was kind of one of those things like, hey, Mom, Dad, I got something to tell you. And similar to the text that I got, they kind of knew something was up. I get it out like, hey, Jamie's pregnant. And my mom, her response, she kind of like threw her hands up and was like, oh my God, I effing knew it. And then walked off.
Oh God.
Walked off. So I'm just sitting there with my dad. I'm like, not really knowing how to respond to that. Cause I'm here. I'm like, I need some support here. And that's like my mom's response about it. And, so I'm like, that kind of went maybe how I expected. My dad I thought he was going to be more upset. So he really, I remember we went out to the backyard and sat on the picnic table and sat me down. It's like, hey, I'm here for you. He prayed with me and, kind of help you, make the decision going forward. And the way that I'm remembering it, my parents were like, your two options are to keep it or put her up for adoption.
Yeah.
And I think they were heavily kind of pushing towards adoption.
Really?
Yeah. But Jamie was like, I'm keeping this baby. We met with like a counselor, kind of go over the options, going through what it looks like with the adoption. And Jamie was like,
You did. You actually met with the adoption just to.
Yeah. It was like one of those like like family planning centers. I think it was like connected to our church or something. Hey, here's kind of, resources, options. What does it look like? So we had that meeting, but she's like, I'm keeping this baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what was your feeling when she said, hey, I'm keeping this, we're doing, like, what was your next thing for feeling like?
Yeah, I was like, I did not want to, I wanted to be in my daughter's life. So it was like really processing what that looked like, what is going to change here. And like, I'm not a kid anymore, like I'm 17, 18, like,
wow,
time to grow up, time to, figure some stuff out. So yeah, that was, my senior year of high school.
So you're junior, she's senior.
Yep. That's when we find out.
That's when you find out.
Yeah. So it was like end of junior year. And
so
then,
at this point, are you planning with her, like, are we moving in together? Like, how are we going to do this? How did her family react?
they were, it was kind of weird. They're kind of like happy, like happy that she was keeping it. Like, oh, this is kind of like an exciting thing, cause she had already graduated. So yeah, this is kind of an, exciting thing. They were pretty supportive, but yeah, we weren't going to like move in together. I'm still in high school, still living at my parents' house. And,
wow. So when did people at the school know? When did people at the school, like friends, find out?
Probably like that fall.
The fall going into the senior year?
Going into the senior year.
And
because I remember I told my football coach.
You did?
Yeah. And he was, I think it was like an opportunity that he was taking to use me as an example.
Oh, yeah.
With the team.
Yeah.
Because I had to get up. It was like, we're in 2 days and like in the middle, in the break, I got up in front of the whole team. He's like, I want you to like, tell everybody that you're sorry, that you let them down. Like, so I'm in, 100 people, 100 kids and, my friends, peers, like, hey, I got something to, confess. I'm, having a baby. Sorry for letting you down. So it was like this moment of, the coach using, I think it was like an opportunity of like, don't be like this idiot.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of like fear, fear and shame.
Yeah.
Like, if you do this, you're going to have to be up here. It's,
what was the reaction of the team?
Everyone kind of, I don't know. Some guys laughed at it. Everyone's like boys. I had my like, close friends. Everyone was super supportive. Like, wow, that's, crazy, bro. Everyone's like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, you're that guy.
Yeah.
But everyone was pretty supportive.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the rest, was Jamie showing by the time she graduated?
So I'm trying to. No, I don't think so. She had graduated because it was like her. Because when is prom? Prom's like at the end.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
End of the year.
Yeah.
So it was probably like fall. She started,
Yeah.
after she
Yeah.
graduated, fall, she started showing. And
All right. So baby comes. Give me the whole, like so now are you 18 when the baby's born? You think?
I was 17.
17.
Yeah.
Now you're freaking are you going to birthing classes? Are you going to the classes that you have to, like, are you going to be the one, like, you made the decision you're going to be there, the one helping her and yelling push and all that stuff?
I knew I was going to be in the room. Jamie was like, I want you in the room.
So were you still dating the way you were dating before?
Yeah. Yeah. Still together.
Okay.
Yeah. Still together.
I mean, I assumed, but you never know.
Yep. Still together. I think there was, no, it was probably, well, just going back to like, I didn't do any of the classes.
Okay. Were there classes though?
I think Jamie did one, or there was like books. I read one of the books, What to Expect when you're in expecting.
Did your mom come around? What? Give me mom.
Yeah,
Let's go back to mom.
Yeah, mom came around.
How long after she said I have
these timelines, man?
I know.
I gotta.
This is your first time ever telling anybody probably this whole story, I'm assuming.
In this context,
for
sure.
This much detail.
Yeah, detail for sure.
That's what this podcast is all about. It's
drawing it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was,
I knew it. And then, was it like a week? Like, did it take a couple of days?
I think probably like a couple of days. Come back around. It's like, hey, this is probably what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep the baby. We're gonna, raise it.
Yeah.
And so that was, kind of like not a catalyst, but for her to like, okay, at least they're, doing something, planning some, have some kind of plan together. They're going to do this thing together. So rally behind that. And was really helpful towards, Jamie, just in the process of, hey, throughout pregnancy. And so that was when Jamie and my mom got close,
Nice.
a lot closer.
Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely came around, but in that moment, I was like, Mom, you're leaving me out to dry right now. I was like, I need something. So yeah.
Did you feel like you had let your mom and dad down? Did you feel like were you?
Yeah, I definitely, it was like a shameful, I was living in some shame just with everybody. Bad example to my younger brothers, let my parents down. I told them that this wouldn't happen, and here it's happening now. So yeah, just guilt and shame, and just like mad that like at the time I was like, I did not want this to like be a part of my story. And even for like a couple years after she was born, of like, not wanting to tell people like that this was part of the story,
Yeah.
But it,
Of course.
it happened. So,
Go to the birth. Go. Do you remember this moment?
bro, I was so stressed, like freaking out. So we're in the room. It's me, Jamie's mom, my mom, the nurses. I remember the nurses just hated me.
Why?
Yeah, because I'm like the 17-year-old kid who's like, but like I'm here, It's like at least I'm here. But
Hated you because like
I don't know if they actually hated me in the moment. It felt like I was just judging the crap out of me, bro. So I kind of felt that a little bit, but it's intent,
Yeah.
You've been there.
You've been there.
You've been there.
Yeah.
It's freaking. Especially at the time I was 17. Like,
Were you just like, whoa?
I remember I had to sit down. I was like about to pass out. Like, this is crazy.
Were you like right with her, yelling push and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was like kind of up at her head.
Wow.
Towards her head,
And the parents were in the room?
Both moms were.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a thing, huh?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so tell him the baby comes out. Give me the
baby comes out.
How was the birth? Was it take long? Was it good? It went well?
No, super easy. I think she started contracting, like serious contractions, and then within a couple of hours, Victoria came. It was like.
Did you already have the name picked? Obviously, right, Victoria. How did you come up with the name?
I think we were just like thinking about like wanting classy names, and so we were just like looking at lists of kind of like old school, classy names.
Yeah.
Victoria, Victorious, Victory.
Yeah.
Kind of some, we in the moment, I don't think we were thinking about that, but like, in retrospect, I believe that we can give meaning to meaning, so it's like, hey, that's her name.
Yeah.
We've are victorious in a lot of ways, and so that's just kind of been this. I guess it was prophetic in a sense of, you think about the statistics of teen pregnancy, especially at such a young age. It doesn't always. In most cases, it turns out, in adoption, or, the world will tell you abortion, or,
right.
Parents aren't together, and now it's, split broken families.
Yep.
Not to say that we haven't had issues, and we might get into that today. Just growing up, raising a kid, being kids,
Yep.
and having Victoria watch us grow up in a lot of ways. Much different than like if you had your first kid when you're 30, right?
Right.
You've done a lot of your growing up already. But so Victoria comes, and it was just like instant love. Like I'm bawling, like just in that moment, because as a mother and you're carrying the baby and it's growing inside of you, there's like that bond that's happening. And then as a father, it's like really until that moment comes and you're holding your daughter, and it's just like unbelievable.
Yeah.
The creation, the design, and that it was like the first time that I kind of felt this having unconditional love for something else.
Yeah.
Of like, all right, dude, it's go time. Like this is my daughter. I'm gonna be her dad. I'm gonna be in her life, and we're gonna make this thing work.
Wow. Yeah. I will never, ever, ever forget the birth of both children, but especially Jacqueline, because Jacqueline was
first and daughter. You know, it's just like instant life changing.
But for you, I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about the scenario here. Let's move on. Go like, she brought her home. How long were you in the hospital for? Did you go over? How often you were there?
Yeah, I was just there all the time. We were in the hospital for like a day. She was living with her parents. And I kind of, I didn't move in, but was spending a lot of nights at her house, and just being with them, being with the baby.
And so she didn't go to work. She's raising a child now, right?
Yep.
After high school, talk to me about that scenario. Like when you got out of high school, what'd you do? Where'd you go from there?
So Marine Corps was the plan.
Yep. Still the plan.
Especially the plan.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, dude,
now you gotta man up.
You gotta man up. You gotta get it together.
Get some money coming in.
And at the time, like insurance, I was like, dude, I just got to get like some health care. I got, family now.
Yeah.
So after that was like, from that point, I was like completely checked out of high school, basically. I think I graduated with like a 2 or like a 1.7, like barely graduated. I'm like, I don't care about this, man. I'm a father, dude. I'm not going to college. So it was like a couple months. I think I left I was working like construction the summer, the fall before my ship date was. So I graduated in 2010. Victoria was born February 2010. I graduated 2010, and then I didn't leave for basic training until January 2011.
Okay.
So I was kind of working construction.
Yeah.
Just pay bills until I left for basic training, and then came down to MCRD San Diego, 2011 January.
Wow.
Yep.
And so that full year, you were visiting her a lot, living there. What was the scenario of how you were helping with the baby?
Yeah, hanging out, visiting a lot. I think there was a moment where we kind of like we almost didn't make it.
What does that mean?
Like together, where we separated a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of leading into basic training. We were kind of like separated, just the pressure, the stress of, and I going back to it, I think at the time there was like, and I think every person can deal with this, but you're like split in between like what you're called to do. Like there's this pull, what you're called to do, what you're supposed to do, what you're responsible for, and then what your flesh wants to do.
Yeah.
And, and so like my flesh is like, dude, I'm so young, and like, I don't, my life is about to change, and I don't know if I'm ready for this. And then it's like, you told Jamie that you were going to, be around, be there, be in both of their lives. So we were just young. So in basic training, kind of writing letters back and forth to Jamie.
And so before you went in, were you talking at all? Were you over there anymore? Did you stop?
We were still talking.
Yeah.
Still talking, going over there, taking care of the baby, diapers, food, still involved in that sense. But me and Jamie were like, okay, I don't know if we're going to, be together.
And you're both on the terms with that? Like kind of came to terms with it?
Yeah, I think she came to terms with like I was probably going to do that. She still wanted to be together.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm losing my mind kind of.
And then you went in the military.
Went into basic training, Marine Corps.
And then when you did that, you were writing letters?
Writing letters, getting connected. And then like kind of through that process, I was like on Sundays in basic training, you have the option to go to a church service. And it was, for me, it was more so like, I'm going to go and take a nap.
Yeah.
It's like a break, you get a couple hours away from the drill instructors. But started going to this church service and then was really kind of convicted around some things, sitting in this church service, worshiping. And it's just through letters back and forth to Jamie of like, all right, no more kind of like, putzing around or like, am I going to be in or am I going to be out? It's like, let's make this, let's solidify this. We're going to be together. I want to get married,
What do you think turned for you? What do you think?
I think it was just a realization that like, I kind of won the lottery in terms of like, in high school, like, if you get somebody pregnant, like it could be, I don't know.
It could be the wrong one.
It could be the wrong one.
There you go.
It could be the wrong,
wrong one.
That's a good way to say it.
It could be the wrong one.
It could be the wrong one, or it could just be like a nightmare situation.
Yeah,
and it was like,
yeah.
I love.
Could be a bad, just somebody who's not good. Somebody's like just doesn't have their ish together.
Yeah, or just exactly
The wrong one.
The wrong one.
Let's keep it there.
Let's leave it at that. So just a realization that like Jamie is awesome. I've been blessed to be with her, know her, and so just like kind of through, some of the preaching, because it's not like hang out like social hour. It's like you go in, you get a message, do some worship, and then you go back. But blessed is the man who finds the wife of his youth, right? And it's like I'm having this realization that like I love Jamie. We could build this life together. And I want to do it with her. And on the other side of that, I did not want another man raising my daughter. So that was like the kind of those two combined things.
Yeah. And this did this happen from going to church, or you came to your senses before that?
Yeah, it was like through going to church.
Really?
Because just kind of backing up, like I want throughout high school wanted nothing to do with church.
Right.
And even kind of like after, graduation, and we might get into that again, but like graduating boot camp.
Yeah.
But like while I was in that environment, for 13 weeks, going to church and, getting some downloads, and then you just have a lot of time to, process and think,
Yeah.
Especially at night of, okay, what's my life going to look like on the outside of this? What am I going to do? And it's time for you to, man up and, marry Jamie and become a family.
So you said we're going to get married, all this stuff.
Yeah.
What was her response?
I'm in.
She was excited.
Kind of like, it's about time,
Yeah.
Thank you for manning up.
Wow.
So we.
So then you graduate. Boot camp.
Yep.
Right.
So then we have, I think it was 10 days boot leave.
Yep.
Before you're off to
your school.
Yeah, it was like combat training and then your school. And I knew at the time, if Jamie and I weren't legally married, there would be a chance that like, hey, you're getting stationed in Japan and your family can't come with you.
Right.
And so we did the courthouse
during that 10 days.
On the ninth day, a day before I go back.
Yeah.
Courthouse, got the marriage certificate.
Wow.
Because you bring that with you to your school, and then that, determines, it's like, all right, he has a family. So wherever he gets stationed, his family's coming with him.
Yeah. Wow.
So I remember like checking in at the combat training school and like showing the thing. And then the guy's like, of course, there's always one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's always one who's getting married on boot leave, just turning the thing in. It's like, hey, man, I'm looking out for my family. Stop judging me, bro.
But it's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Yeah,
yep.
Just to get out of and that's not what you were doing, but you had an actual situation Yours was legit.
Yep.
You've got guys. I had guys that I served with, bro, that just married girls just to make more money.
Oh yeah, contract marriages for sure.
Yeah.
That all about that. But yeah, this was like 100%. Like, I don't want to be stationed in Japan and not be able to bring them with me. And I might have been able to do it, but in my mind, I was like,
Let's make sure.
Let's get this done.
Okay, so then go on after that.
So yeah, I went through the combat training, went through my MOS school. I was supply admin in the Marine Corps. I really wanted to go infantry. I had a recruiter and my older brother kind of coach me. It's like, dude, you got a daughter, you got a young family. Like this is not, I know you want to do that. This is not worth it. Like, do something that transfers outside of the Marine Corps. Yeah. Here's a signing bonus. So went
because infantry, you're in harm's way.
Yeah,
if we go to war, when we go to war,
and we were at war. This was 2011. So Iraq and Afghanistan, and but like young age, 18-year-old age is like, yeah, dude, that's why I want to join the Marine Corps.
Right.
I remember I was like, they don't make movies about supply guys.
Yeah.
I was like the thing. But yeah, that's made that decision. I'm grateful for that decision. So yeah.
And where were you stationed?
So the plan, and you were in the military, and as you know, you make your plans, and then
they change them,
and then they tell you where to go.
That's right.
So wanted California somewhere. My older brother was stationed at MCRD.
Oh wait, where basic was what? Camp Lejeune?
Basic is here.
That's right. Yeah.
MCRD San Diego
MCRD.
here.
Okay, gotcha.
And I wanted to be stationed here, San Diego, Pendleton. It was like California, Midwest kid. I was like, get me out of there. Can't deal with snow.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. I can't believe people live here. And ended up getting stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, which ended up, at the time I was like, dude, this is, because that city exists because of the base and there's not a ton to do. We ended up living about an hour south in a town called Wilmington. It's a coastal beach community, college town. It's where Michael Jordan went to high school.
So you told, hey, I got stationed here. You moved then you moved together.
Yeah. So finished school. My MOS school was in North Carolina, and then I got stationed in North Carolina, and then Jamie moved out, and this was summer 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me how that life went.
Wow. It was interesting. So we didn't know it, but we were living in the ghetto of Jacksonville, next to Section 8, just like the cheapest apartment. Trying to remember how much it was. It's always interesting to kind of compare. But
yeah.
I think it was probably like $500 a month, and it was like pretty much every dollar that I made.
Right.
Every dollar that I made.
I had a place in Philly.
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
Three total roommates. I paid $133 a month.
Let's go.
The rent was $400 a month.
Yeah.
For a row house in South Philadelphia.
Yeah.
$400. Yeah. I paid $133, and it was a stretch.
Yeah, and then you had $20 left over.
Yeah, nothing left over. Yeah. I'm not even kidding you.
Totally.
Because think about this. Think how little you made.
Right.
Go 10, 20 years prior.
Yep.
No, like literally nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I was taking toilet paper and cereal from the ship to survive.
Come on. Yeah.
All right, so go.
Always a grinder.
Yeah. Always a grinder. Always stealing.
Yeah.
All right, so you're there. $500 a month in rent.
Yep.
How was life? How was things going?
It was
Victoria's now one-ish.
One. Yeah, it was cool. We had a lot of fun. Hit the beach a lot. Beaches over there on the southeast coast are beautiful. The sand's gorgeous. The water's warm. We did a lot of excursions, like tent camping, driving up and down the Carolina coast, finding cool spots. My time in the Marine Corps, it was just unique and different because the unit that I was in, we were like in this office that had no windows. So we were like the supply management unit. So for the entire base, everyone's, making their orders. So we have like these servers, all the orders are coming in. So it was like just atypical of like a normal kind of like you're in a unit, you have your squad. So it was like a small shop. didn't love what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just like on a computer, like, so that was just not the Marine Corps experience that I was expecting or hoping for.
Yeah.
Because I, like I said, wanted to be infantry. I wanted, we didn't go to the field a lot. I was like, I want to be in the field. I want to do all this stuff. I did end up deploying to Afghanistan in 2012. So this was Obama election year. In part of his election ticket was getting out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I attached to this unit. Our mission was to send gear back. We're like tearing down patrol bases, bouncing around Afghanistan, tearing down patrol bases, sending gear back. So did have that, kind of, we weren't, kicking down doors, whipping it on.
Yeah.
But you're in country, and so I had that experience, and then came back end of 2012. That's when we moved down to Wilmington. So it's about an hour away from the base, but in this like sick town. I love that town.
Yeah.
Great restaurants, and we just had a community of friends down there that were just on the intercoastal waterway, fishing, water skiing, just kind of beach bumming it up.
And that was your whole, so you're stationed there, that was your full 4 years?
Full 4 years, yeah. Was in North Carolina.
Okay, so then when it came time to, anything happened down there that was significant? When did baby number 2 come around?
Yeah, Violet was born 2014, so that was...
So when did you make a decision? Did you make a decision, hey, let's have another one?
Yeah, we were trying.
You were?
Yeah, we were trying.
Ah.
Yep.
So immediately. How old was Victoria when you said, you know what, let's keep going here?
She was probably 2.5, 3.
And then you said, hey, let's go?
Yeah, let's go. And then I think like she wasn't getting pregnant for a while. And then we maybe it's not going to happen. And then she got pregnant, and we're like, let's go.
And that was, so Victoria was how old at this point, 3 or 4?
Yeah, she was 4 when Violet was born.
And so, and this was from in Wilmington.
Yep, born in North Carolina. She's our Carolina baby.
And so it took at least, a year or 2 to successfully...
Yeah, I think it was about 9 months. I think Victoria was like 3.
Yeah.
2.5, 3. And then we started trying. And it was like 9 months before she got pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
So when you got where were you when she told you, hey, we got it?
Bro.
You don't know, huh?
Jamie's going to be so mad.
Oh, no. You don't remember.
I remember I was super happy.
I remember. Good answer. Good answer.
We got it done.
We got it done.
Mission accomplished.
And then, so then number 2, tell me anything, how'd that birth go?
That was not scary. It was a little scary because there was something wrong with the way the umbilical cord was inserted.
Mm.
And then on ultrasounds, they were like, there might be something with the heart. And she came early. Was like a checkup. And they were like, yeah, with this issue with the umbilical cord and a potential issue with her heart, like we should induce. I think there was, Jamie would have to fill me in on exactly what happened, but it was like, we got to induce. So she was born, I think 5 weeks early. And I remember being shocked at how small she was.
Yeah. Tiny,
dude, like fit in my hand. I think she was like 4 pounds.
Wow.
And Victoria was, I don't know, normal 7 pounds, kind of a bigger baby. And so then the contrast, I was like, wow, you're really small. But normal. Most of Jamie's deliveries have been super kind of chill.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, it's go time. We're at the hospital for like an hour, 2 hours.
And already done.
And then she pushes like once or twice, and then baby comes.
Wow. It's incredible.
So same thing with Violet. So yeah, that was, I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps, August of 14.
Was re-signing up an option? Were you thinking about it?
It was an option.
Why did you not do it?
So I hurt my shoulder. I tore my labrum and I was going to physical therapy and getting shots, and I had a surgeon tell me that I should probably do surgery. But
how did you hurt it?
It wasn't like an acute injury. They just said overuse.
Yeah.
So pull-ups, and
Common,
whatever. So they were like, you need to get surgery. If we do the surgery, you are going to have to extend on your contract until you're like finished, healed up, and then there's going to be like a med board, and you might be able to get out on time, or it might be, extend a couple months. And at the time, they were drawing down. The U.S. was drawing down military forces in general. Yeah, and so a lot of guys were given the option to get out early on their contract.
That's right.
So my contract was up in January 15, but I was like, well, I don't want to do this surgery and then have to be in extended. I have this option to get out now, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I thought about it. I told Jamie, I was like, if I re-enlist, like I want to I want to do a lateral move, and I want to go infantry. Like I joined the Marine Corps. Like I went on this deployment in 2012, and we just kind of, didn't do anything, and I just like was wanting that experience. And she was like, I really don't want you to do that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do another 4 years of, sitting in an office. So I'm going to get out.
And then what'd you do? Do you have a plan when you got out?
No plan, bro.
No plan.
No plan. I was just like, I had, I think like 45 days of terminal leave saved up. Yeah. So I got out in August, and then they paid me for another month and a half. So I was like, I'll just look for a job in that month and a half. And I was working with a construction company. So like growing up, my dad worked in a union. He was like a sprinkler fitter. My mom stayed at home, stay-at-home mom, homeschooled, all that. So I just thought, this is what I know. I'm just going to be like a blue collar guy. Yeah. That's what I did after high school. I didn't really have like a vision for anything else. So I just bounced around, different construction jobs, concrete.
And was Jamie working at all at this point?
Nope.
No. So you got construction jobs.
Yep.
And you were staying in Wilmington.
Staying in Wilmington.
You say, hey, let's stay here.
We love it. Let's build our life here. We had, a friend group.
And how was everything going with baby number 2, the marriage, everything going smooth? Smooth sailing.
Everything is smooth sailing up until like beginning of 15. I I think there was like some depression. I had gotten a diagnosis of like insomnia, depression. I'm not sleeping. Was prescribed some medication to help with the sleep and the depression.
What they prescribed for the sleep?
Trazodone.
Okay.
You know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Sleep aid,
tranquilizer.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, knocks you out, makes you feel like dog water.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, I started kind of self-medicating because, you're in the Marine Corps. Like the drinking was like, dude, it's basically like a fraternity.
Yeah. We're military, Navy.
Heavy drinking culture.
Big time.
Putting it down. But no drugs, right? They drug test you.
Right.
So and then I got out, and it's like, all right, dude, I loved smoking weed, prior. Like I'm gonna get back onto that. So I'm smoking weed and drinking, self-medicating. I'm working this job that I hate. I remember thinking, like waking up, like, man, I wish I didn't wake up today, because then I got to go out and, I think I was making like $15 an hour. I got 2 kids. We were in a house at the time. Rent was like $900, and again, I'm like barely making it here. So yeah, just kind of dove headfirst, spiraled down, just depression, self-medicating, drinking, feeling like I just wasn't enough, feeling like it would be better, people would be better off without me, just because I'm, have no self-control, and I'm just drunk and high all the time. And
you felt that?
Yeah. Yep.
And then did you talk to Jamie about that?
Yeah, it was more like I tried to talk to her about it, and at the time, like, she didn't really understand, because she never really dealt with depression or like feeling down in the dumps. Like for an extended period of time, I'd get in these ruts, and then I would be frustrated. It's like, well, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand me. And she's like, well, I don't understand because look at our life, look at our daughters, look at, she was always like,
Yeah.
Being grateful for
Right.
what we had,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a lot, but it's like we had our daughters and we're living this life and we got these friends that, we were hanging out with and doing fun stuff with. And,
Yep.
like,
So you couldn't comprehend it.
she couldn't comprehend it. And I was mad that she couldn't comprehend
Yeah.
the way that I was feeling. And I was mad for feeling that way because I felt like I couldn't control it. Because in my mind, I knew it's like, yeah, you're right. Like there are a lot of things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I'm, in hindsight, right, it's like spirit of death, spirit, all these spirits had come on to me that were kind of leading me down this path. And at the time, I wanted nothing to do with God. I was like kind of atheist, viewed myself as my own God, like I create my own reality. And so
you weren't going to church, basically almost atheist.
Yeah, like, science makes sense. Like that doesn't make sense. It makes,
Right.
Evolution science, that makes sense. I don't believe in a God. I am my own God.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how bad did that get before it turned around?
About as bad as it could get.
What does that mean?
So Jamie and I got to the point of not even arguing. So it's like we've had, you've heard people say it's like, well, if you're still like fighting or arguing,
Yeah.
that's good,
Right.
or it can be good because
Correct.
you guys care and you're
Yeah, you're working on it.
You're working on it, and I was just checked out mentally, emotionally. We were basically like roommates, just barely talking about anything. It's wild that I remember this. The ABC stores in North Carolina, they're liquor stores.
Yep, I remember.
And it's the whiskey aisle, bottom shelf. It was an Evan Williams like plastic bottle, green lid. It was like $7 for like a liter, one a day. That was like my routine of I'd work this. I was a stonemason at the time.
Yep.
So work this construction job, get home, straight into the whiskey, straight into
Like the $7 liter of whiskey.
$7 liter of whiskey, throwing that down and
Smoking cigarettes.
weed, pills.
What kind of pills?
Like Percocet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that was daily.
The drinking for sure, the weed for sure.
Wow.
Spending nights in bars, just being at bars, hanging out with degenerates.
And what was Jamie doing the whole time?
She started going to church. It was like, hey, my life is falling apart. Started going to church and had some friends that were pouring into her.
Yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, we were just kind of doing our own thing. I'd work, I'd come home, or I'd be at a bar, come home like 2:00 in the morning, get up at 5, 6, still drunk, drive to work and
Do the same thing.
And that was my routine.
How long did that keep up?
That was probably like 9 months. 9 months. And then it got to the point where she's like, all right, I'm done.
You weren't even arguing anymore.
Yeah.
You weren't even, were you sleeping in different rooms?
Yeah, I'd sleep on the couch. Sometimes I'd sleep in the bed, but, sleep on the couch or come home and just go to the couch.
And after a while, she's like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Asked for a divorce. Did like the legal, cause I think in North Carolina, you had to have like a legal separation
Yeah.
for a year or something before you could actually get a divorce.
Hmm.
So did the legal separation. We were still like living in the house.
What was she doing for money? You were still paying for stuff?
Yeah.
And then so you got legal separation.
Yep. And then, so she was going to move back to Minnesota, and then I was just like, all right, kind of like free reign, do whatever I want. Started hooking up with girls. Jamie found out about that, and it was like, all right, like this, you're like just a total POS, like see ya. And I remember having the plan I had it planned out. We're in North Carolina. We're living in this house. There was this big oak tree in our backyard. and you're going to move to Minnesota. As soon as you leave, I'm ending it. I'm hanging myself in that tree. Believe this lie that they were better off without me, that I was such a scumbag, like all of these things. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're a scumbag. There's no redeeming qualities, and they're better off without you. So just take yourself out. It's just going to be better for everyone.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
Did you tell her this or no?
Didn't tell her this. I didn't tell anyone that. She knows now.
Yeah.
But that I didn't tell her. Like, I didn't want them to, in my mind, I was like, I don't want them to find me or whatever. I'm just, they're going to leave, and I'm going to just do it here. Through that, kind of jumping around a little bit, but so this is 2015. My older brother Patrick.
Did you tell your parents you were going through this? No.
And that was, we're out on an island. We have no family in North Carolina. Our family's in Minnesota. I have a brother in California.
Did you talk to your mother and dad all the time, or?
No.
No.
I would keep up a facade, because it was kind of, going back to like this kind of fear of man, of like wanting people to like me, or wanting or caring about what people thought of me. Like, I didn't want people to know. Like, I'm keeping up this facade of AJ got out of Farmington, Minnesota, and he's got paid off car. These are the things I'm telling myself. You have paid off cars. You guys live next to the ocean. Everything's great. Everything is beautiful. You got these daughters. And it was all a lie. It was a facade, because on the inside, it was turmoil. I hated myself. I hated life. Me and Jamie, our relationship is dead zone. So like with my parents or family members, it was all of like, just keeping up appearances, and I didn't want anyone to know. So through 2015, my older brother, Patrick, he had been calling me, or trying to call me, and he was going to this church called C3 at the time, and was telling me, and it was all through kind of like voice messages or text, because I wasn't talking to him, but he was like, hey, God's changed my life. I want to kind of fill you in. And I was like, I didn't want to hear about any of that. I don't want to be preached at. And so I'd been ducking him for like a year. So
he was here in San Diego.
Here in San Diego. So
You're still in Wilmington.
Still in North Carolina. 2015, going through, me and Jamie are like legally separated, and she was living, she had moved in with one of her friends from this church that she was going to. So I'm at this house by myself. My brother calls and leaves a message. He's like calling me out. He's like, you've been ignoring me for a year. I'm coming out there. I'll see you on Friday. So then I immediately call back. Hey, bro, not a good time. Work's just really crazy. I'm trying to like come up with like keep the appearances going.
Yeah.
Not wanting him to come out and like see this mess that I'm in, and not wanting to be judged or preached at. He's like, yeah, I don't care, man.
So you literally hadn't talked to him in a year.
Hadn't talked to him.
You never returned a call.
Never returned a call.
Did you even reply to the text?
No. Nothing. So I call him back. Not a good time, dude. You can't. I don't care, bro. The ticket was $1,500. It's non-refundable. I'm coming out. I'll see you on Friday. It's like, okay. So he comes out, and I'm like in my head of like, dude, how am I going to like get around this? I don't want him to know about this. I don't want him judging me for this. And he comes out and was just there to like love on me. And
came to the house,
staying with me at the house. I think it was a couple of days.
Did he know that you were separated?
I told him that we were separated.
Told him then.
When
he came.
Yep. I think while he was there, that's when Jamie found out about this other girl. And so then I was like, oh, dude, everything's just kind of getting exposed here. I didn't want him to know about that. And so Jamie told him about that, because they had got breakfast together separately. So he was kind of like, with Jamie, like, hey, what's going on here? And Christianity, or like people who claim to be followers of God, at least in my perspective at the time, whether it was true or not, were like just very judgmental.
Yeah.
And like, you're doing it wrong, legalistic, you need to be doing it this way. It never really like felt like love, And so he came and he was like, hey, I don't care about anything that you've done. I'm not here we don't even need to talk about any of that. God told me that I needed to come out here, and this is a rescue mission, because if I didn't, I'm here for your life, essentially. Because if I don't come out here, you're going to die. And that just kind of like blew my mind. I was like, all right, that's new. I've never heard anyone speak like that before. And he was kind of taking me through, have you heard of like CT-FAR, just like some mindset stuff, like your circumstances, your thoughts, feelings, actions, and kind of this like pipeline to your result, right?
Yeah.
So if you change the way that you think and feel about stuff, you do different actions. So he's kind of taking me through this process.
This is at your house?
At my house, in my kitchen. It was like late at night. And asks me a question. I think it was more like, okay, here's your circumstance. How do we change your circumstance? We got to change how you think and how you feel about stuff. And he asked me, if you could have one thing for your daughters? So I'm looking at your two daughters, Violet's, she would have been like just not even one. Victoria's just turned 5. If you could have anything for them, what would it be? And my response to that was, and your father, and any father out there knows, even instantly, like when you're holding your newborn, but especially like when they're like 1, you start to see like there's so much potential. Like the potential is limitless of like what is possible, what they can accomplish. And so my response was that they live up to their potential. Like, I just want them to live up to their potential. And without skipping a beat, his response was very direct and looked me in the eye, and he said, if you kill yourself, what example is that of you living up to your full potential? And he had no idea of this plan. I didn't tell him that I was going to kill myself, that this is the plan. And it was I'm wrecked. And at the time, retrospect, but at the time, it was like God was healing my heart. I'm bawling, I'm crying.
Yeah.
And in that moment, regardless of if me and Jamie get back together or not, I'm not going to end my life, and I'm going to do whatever I can to be in my daughters' lives, whether Jamie and I are together or not. So that was like this catalyst of experiencing God in real time that changed the trajectory of my life, because it could have looked very different, because if you think about like, what he said, what example that is, like, the trauma, that the wounds and the things that, my kids would have had to overcome and deal with. And, God can do anything and heal and restore anything, but that it's an uphill battle.
Oh yeah.
It's so that was got me out of this kind of rut, this spirit of death. Still had kind of questions of like, but it was very much like, okay, this is real, because he had no idea. God told him to come out, that it was a rescue mission, and God, through the Holy Spirit, spoke to him about this plan that I hadn't told anybody. And the Holy Spirit used the right words to snap me out of that in this dark pit that I was in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Unbelievable, bro. All right, keep going. Where to go from there? Brother's there. Goes through that.
Brother's there. We're So Jamie, we're still separated. She leaves for Minnesota, and she actually moves in with my parents. So she's living with my parents, and I'm in North Carolina trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
So after your brother's there,
yeah.
did you reach out to Jamie? Did you, after you had that kind of mind-altering shift?
No, it was fresh, like this mess, and then she was just kind of done, and I think I got some counsel from my brother of like, just like give it time, like, your life can change, but it's gonna take time because there's this deep fracture that was split in between the two of you, and it's not gonna heal itself right away.
Right.
So give it some time. So I didn't reach out and be like, hey, heads up, I was gonna kill myself, and then my brother told me all this stuff, and now I'm not. I didn't I didn't like try to mend relationship or anything. It was just like, all right. Kind of the thing was, so my brother's still at my house, and one of the things that he told me was, all right, so if she's living in Minnesota and your kids are in Minnesota, do you want to live in Minnesota? No, I don't want to live in Minnesota. Okay, if you're going to stay in North Carolina, what can you do that's going to allow you to make enough money to where you can be, if you're going to live separate, you got to be in their life. So you got to make some money. What are you going to do? It's like, I have no idea, dude. He's like, all right, well, there's opportunity in California. You got to do something. And he broke it down to me like this. This was like the first time where I realized like being an entrepreneur or like making money was like a reality or like something that people did. I just didn't have a lot of examples growing up. Like my dad, he started when he was younger, before kids were born, had like a mechanic shop, but then, closed it down, and then was just like, hey, everyone talks about like get a good job, get good benefits, try to retire. That's kind of like the status quo. So that's what I grew up with. So he was like, if you want to make money, you either need to be an entrepreneur and have a company, or you need to be in sales. And I didn't have any business, product, thing, service that I was going to launch a company around. So, all right, I'm going to give a crack at sales. So I moved, my brother and his family, God bless them, and super grateful for making space for me, because it was not good timing for them. My sister-in-law, she was pregnant, expecting, I think, their fourth baby, and allowed me to come in and invade their space and give me a landing spot. So I'm from North Carolina.
They said we've got an opportunity. Come to was it San Diego specifically, right?
Yeah, they were living in Solana Beach. Move out. You can sleep in the guest room, or it was like an office that had a bed in it, and you can sleep in that and kind of try to get back on your feet. So there wasn't like a job opportunity, but it was just like, there is more opportunity here in San Diego, especially with, the networks and the things that he's plugged into of, being able to, make some money and create something than there are with what I had going on in North Carolina. And so I'm like, I don't want to go back to Minnesota. All right, so I'm going to take this opportunity. I took me 4 days, drove from North Carolina to California, just on it, chain smoking cigarettes, just driving forward.
Were you drinking still?
So there was like drinking still. There were some conditions with moving in, and it's kind of funny looking back on it. One of the conditions was I had to stop smoking cigarettes because my sister-in-law is pregnant, and the smells and all of that. So in my mind, I took that as, all right, I'm not going to like smoke around the house or like at the end of the driveway. But then I would be out, in the car, going to interviews or looking for jobs, just ripping cigarettes. And she's coming in and like, no, like you can't smoke cigarettes. Like it reeks on you. So actually a blessing is it was like, all right, cold turkey, I'm going to quit cigarettes. And that's how I stopped smoking cigarettes. But so living living in their house in Solana Beach, and I ended up getting a sales job selling solar door to door. And that was like my intro to sales. I never thought of myself as a sales guy or a business guy, but just sales 101, door knocking.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest kind of takeaway is rejection handling. Like, you get impervious to the no's. It's like, and a lot of people live in fear. Like, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to, prevents them from starting something. And it's just like, all right, after like a day and a half, like you just don't care. Like I've knocked 200 doors and, I've gotten 2 yeses. Like, I don't care. Like more no's gets me to the yes. So, great crash course in, sales 101, selling solar door to door. So grateful for that experience. I feel like I'm missing, or you had asked a question. And I'm getting off track a little bit.
No, you went to your brother now.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, you went to now moved to his house.
Yep.
I don't think if I think you're skipping, I'll make you go back, but I don't think so. Jamie's in Minnesota with your parents.
Yep.
How'd you talk to your parents about this now?
Yeah, that was like, and everyone kind of knew, you put up this facade and you try to lie and you try to be fake or, hide the actual truth. And, I think people can tell, when you're, so people knew something was going on, but it was like, hey, remember having a conversation with my dad of we're splitting up. She's moving back to Minnesota. And I can't remember exactly why she decided to move in with them. I think it was, I think they just had more space. But yeah, they were very gracious and like, okay, we're going to help your family, land and, kind of get things figured out. And so it was, I think I went back to Minnesota Christmas 2015. So this is probably like 6 months after my brother had
coming back to San Diego.
Well, I had moved to San Diego.
Yeah. Oh, you hadn't?
I had moved.
Okay.
Or did I? Yeah. So it was like November 15, I moved to San Diego. So 6 months of after my brother came out to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was like summer 15. So just kind of hanging out as a family. We're at my parents' house. Jamie's there with the girls, and it was my first time I'd seen him in a couple months, and just kind of like cordially talking to Jamie, but nothing real, nothing. Just kind of like business, It's like, okay, here's the kids, kind of deal. And it was probably like a month later, I reached out to her and I knew that I needed to apologize. So I reached out to her and I'm like, I'm not expecting you to forgive me. I'm not expecting anything here. I just have to apologize for what I did, for putting us in the situation that we're in, for being selfish. So I just want you to know that. And she instantly forgives me because like 2 days prior, she heard from God saying that AJ is going to reach out and he's going to ask for forgiveness. And I want you to forgive him because if you do, I will save your family. I'll restore your family and I'll give you a son. And so she audibly hears that from God. And then 2 days later, I reach out and ask for forgiveness and in an instant forgives me. And that was like the actual like real moment of like for the first time in my life feeling unconditional love towards me or forgiveness towards me, of like not expecting this. She has every right to, all the flesh stuff, all the worldly stuff. She has every right to be, mad and hold this over me. And I'm not expecting you to forgive me here, but instantly, forgives me, wrecks me. And that was the catalyst of us beginning to talk again and repairing and restoring the relationship. And then her and the girls in April 2016, moved out to California, and then I moved out of my brother's spot, and then we got an apartment.
Were you making solar sales? Were you doing pretty good?
Yeah, I was doing pretty good. I was. It's so funny going back to the numbers. In 2015, I think I made 19 grand tax. Yeah. Like I was like 19 grand. It's like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
And my brother's like, if you could make an amount of money, so we were like going through goal setting.
Yeah.
How much money do you want to make? I was like, bro, if I can make 45 grand
in a year,
I'm balling. You know, because that was
context.
That was more than double of what I just made. So that first year in solar, I think I cracked 100. In
first full year.
Yeah. And my mind was freaking blown, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I doubled my goal, dude. It's like, I wanted more than double. I wanted to make 45 grand. So yeah, wasn't balling out of control because, 100 grand is
San Diego still.
And, I had some kids and, family. But from where I had come from, it was.
How did everything go at your brother's house? You stayed off the cigarettes. You were good.
Yeah, there was like, I was just invaded their space, and I think I was probably there a little too long, or longer than they had hoped for. I think it was like 4 months. No, it was probably about 6 months.
6 months.
6 months staying there. And so, you know how that can be when you have family over for like visiting for a week. You're like, all right.
Yeah, when are they leaving?
You guys get in a hotel? But yeah, for the most part, it was, I think it was good. There was some moments of like, contention around whatever, just, different living, styles or like, expectations. And, but yeah, I quit the cigarettes. And so
that's good. Were you still drinking?
No, I stopped drinking. Yeah, I stopped drinking, and then I was going to like a men's Bible study at Milton's in Solana Beach with my brother and a couple of old heads. These guys were like in their 60s and 70s, just so much wisdom. But it was like a deep Bible study. Doing this Bible study.
Did you start going to C3?
No,
Did he try to get you to go to C3?
Actually, he might have been going to the Rock at the time, maybe, and it was like, or C3. I don't know. I remember going to C3 for the first time and being so ticked off around tongues. It's so funny.
Hold on, don't skip.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Jamie back here at that point?
Yeah, Jamie's here.
Okay,
yeah.
So Jamie moved out. 2016.
Yep.
You moved out of your brother's in with her.
Yep.
Or were you already out of there?
No, I was renting a room in Oceanside, so I had moved out. And then prior to them coming, I got us an apartment in San Marcos. So when she, got in, or I flew back and, drove the truck and all the stuff. But when we got in, we moved straight into the apartment together.
And how was that right out the gate?
It was great. It was like a new lease on life.
Did you skip a beat? Did things like you immediately have a whole new appreciation?
A whole new appreciation. Just like so grateful. Like my family's back together. Just overjoyed about the redemption, the restoration.
And you're like 24 at this point. 24, 25.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I'm doing the math.
Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy how young.
Yeah.
Okay, so redemption, feeling good about it. Go from there. When did you go to C3 for the first time?
It was probably in like 17. I think it was Balboa. I think it was Balboa campus.
How did that happen?
My brother was just like, hey, I want you guys.
Did he come back to C3? Did he?
Yeah, he was. So it was like, I don't remember the timeline. He was at the Rock. We tried to go to the Rock in San Marcos. I just didn't, nothing against that, but it was like, they just like satellite, you watch the screen of the head pastor, and it was like, it's not really for us. They stopped going to the Rock. And then it was actually, I think they started going to Bressie. They were going to Bressie, C3 Bressie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what made you come to Balboa?
I think it was don't know why they were going to, it was something maybe not a conference, but it was something where we went to Balboa. I think we had like one of our sisters were in town, and we all, I don't know if we were down in San Diego, we were at Balboa, and I just remember like being like, in my mind, I was like, dude, this tongue thing is so distracting, and I just remember being so ticked off about
it. So they were doing tongues right there?
Well, like in the service, you know,
Yeah.
they're praying, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's the kind of corporate prayer, and then everyone's, you know, praying out loud, praying in the spirit. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, dude, this ain't tongues. You don't have an interpreter. That was like my understanding.
Praying in tongues.
Praying in tongues, yeah.
Explain for the listeners and viewers what that means.
Yeah, so it's a gift of the Holy Spirit, evidence of, you know, when the Holy Spirit comes on us, a spirit language. So there's different, I guess, iterations of praying or speaking in tongues in the Bible. In some instances, if like I'm, you know, giving if I'm giving a teaching and a word comes in tongues and it's meant for the congregation, then there should be an interpreter to interpret that. But also, you know, in Acts, it talks about it being, you know, speaking utterances in a spirit language that our mind doesn't understand, but we're, you know, like a direct line to the Holy Spirit. So a prayer language.
And it isn't also something where the devil can't understand.
Right. Yeah. So it's like in our mind, we don't know what we're saying. Neither does the devil. And it's this kind of operational security, you know, secured line, direct to the source, that intervenes and communicates on our behalf.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So this ticked you off.
Yeah. I was like, dude, this church, man, this ain't real. This isn't it.
Were you like, what is this? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But then I think I started coming to Pathfinder breakfasts back in 2017, and I'm loving that. I was like, dude, this is it. I love this. I love the energy. You know, it's 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, and people are just pumped out of their minds. You know, great teaching, and, you know, just the networking and the community. And then in 2018, went to my first Emerge, changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah, it changed my life. That was just a lot of like father wounds, different things, you know, still carrying a lot of shame around my story of like teen pregnancy, cheating on your wife, you know, almost divorced, you know, sleeping around, just shame and guilt around that, and got freedom in 2018 of like, okay, that's who I was in that moment, but that's not who God created me to be. And that's not who I am anymore. And now there's, you know, the future that you have to look forward to. And it doesn't have to be that. And when we had somebody speak to me around, I think this was like probably another Emerge, but like talking about how we, like the things that we overcome, we're then given keys to unlock that for other people.
Right.
And so the enemy would be like, hey, you're in this, you made these choices, and so we can get some freedom from that. But the enemy still, like, you know, wants you in shame around that, because if you're in shame around it, you don't want to talk about it, or if you don't want to, you know, you might have gotten freedom and your family is restored, but you're not in full freedom because you're still in shame.
Yeah.
The enemy can then take that out of being, you know, you being effective for other people, you know, a testimony of what God has done, and then it confirms it for other people, builds other people's faith, and it's like, hey, if that happened for you, that can happen for me.
Which is exactly what this podcast is about.
Come on, let's go.
Like literally,
Yeah.
to the T.
Come on.
Because you're able to talk about it.
Yep.
And reveal the story, the testimony.
Right. And I remember there would be a time where, you know, if you tried to sit down with AJ and talk about this, you know, I'd be, you know,
Nothing.
I'd be crying, you know, not to say that you can't, you know, cry about stuff, but I'd just be like, you know, just like kind of dejected still of like, yeah, that was my story, you know,
Yeah.
it really sucks. But now it's like, it is my story. It is a part of what we've gone through, and there has just been unbelievable victory, going back to like prophetic names of Victoria being the firstborn and seeing some of this stuff,
Yeah.
you know, grow, you know, she was 5 when we were separated. So, you know, she's going to have memory of that. Maybe not all of the details, but definitely she's got memories of living at grandma and grandpa's, and, you know, dad being sick and us being separated. So, but then on the other side of, yeah, that happened, but look at where we've come. And not to say, you know, it's never perfect. And if we're being real, we're on the real deal talk. If we're
That's
being
right.
real, like me and Jamie are kind of going through it right now. You know, there's certain things that, you know, we're, you know, in a season of stretching and, you know, taking territory and going after some things, and some stuff has come up, and, you know, we're just, you know, we're dealing with it. But, you know, we now have, you know, some wisdom and some power and some authority to handle the things that we'll go through, where, you know, when we were young, we weren't operating in that. It was just like, I think about the image of like, I was like a cork in the ocean, just wherever the wind blows, wherever the current's taking me, like I'm just letting life happen to me.
Yep.
Where now it's like, okay, we are in an operational ship, and we got some power, we got some wind in our sails, we got a rudder, you know, we're following God's principles, biblical principles around how we run our family and how we raise kids and how we, you know, do business. And so there's this ship that we're in versus just letting life happen.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's good stuff.
And so I love it. So you're ticked off at C3. But then, so did you not go to any more services? You just went to the Pathfinder stuff? Like, what kept you still coming to something?
Yeah, love the breakfast, the Pathfinder breakfast. So I was, you know, I was trying to make those, and Emerge. Emerge, yeah. Emerge.
What made you go to Merge? Who was it? Who can we shout out that got you to Merge?
Shout out Patrick Clark.
Clark,
my brother. He's the one that came out to North Carolina, and he was like, "Hey, we got this."
Oh, your actual brother.
This is my half brother.
Your half brother.
Yep.
This is the one that came out there
This is the one that came out. This is the one that joined the Marine Corps 10 years before me.
Yeah.
And so it's super grateful for him. And
so he was now going back to C3 because he went to the Rock. He came back.
It was Rock, then C3. It was never like C3 Rock.
And by the way, folks, C3 is now Awaken
Church,
which is where we met.
Yeah.
So
20 years in the game.
All right. So your brother went back to C3, and then he had already gone to Emerge and said, "You need to go," or?
Yeah, I think I don't know how many Emerge conferences he had been to, but yeah, it was like, "Hey, you got to come out to this conference."
We like, bro, no.
I was like, all right, dude. At this point, I was receptive. We were going to a smaller church in Escondido. Kind of found a community. Still had some theological in my mind. There were like theological differences, but you know, he's like, hey, dude, it'll change your life. Come out to Emerge. So like, all right, dude, I can do some camping. You know, we got the RV. You know, and I remember that year I think it was like Viejas or like on the Red, and I remember just being so windy and like feeling bad about guys in the tents. I was like, thank God we have an RV, otherwise I would not come back. But yeah, like it was just unlike anything that I've ever been to. And for those that have been to Awaken Emerge men's conference, know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But it was like big tent, and I remember they did, I don't know if it was, I think they did it was like an MMA fight in the tent. They had caged in, I was like, bro, this is never seen guys at church doing this stuff. This is wild. Insane. The games, had the team games, all of that. I was like, all right, this is next level. But yeah, just the ministering to the Holy Spirit. And I remember Keith Craft was, he was there. He was one of the keynotes and was talking about like actually as a husband, like loving your wife and like going, he gave us a kind of a charge, a demand. He's like, you're going to leave this conference, go back to your wife, and really ask her, it's like, do you feel deeply loved by me?
Yep.
And I went back and asked Jamie and she was like, no, and it was just like, okay.
I remember when I went to merge, the same thing.
Yeah.
Rachel said yes, but
yeah.
But I remember calling you and asking you that.
Yeah. And it was just like, there was these like,
well, how did you feel when she said no?
I felt like a loser.
Yeah.
I felt like a loser. I'm like, bro, I need to like step this up. It's like we've gone through so much and we've, restored so much, but then it's like still kind of like battling and wrestling with, kind of these ruts of depression or, things are still coming up and I'm still, still fighting the good fight. So that was 2018, but that was like set me on a trajectory of like, all right, I keep going through like these levels of like, okay, you have a certain understanding and then you get there and then everything opens up again. And like the more that thing, the more the less right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm on this like perpetual journey of getting better and being open to feedback, critical feedback, honest feedback. But yeah, I just remember 2018, changed a lot of things, broke off some shame. And, it was like a gut check of like, cause I'm still like fresh. I'm still like figuring this stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm still, there's still like some of this hurt or some of these wounds that we're still dealing with, even though, she forgave me. There's still, kind of, you got to rewire your brain, even though like in your heart,
it's still there.
So.
And so you go 18, how to go from there? When did you have another child? After she said no, what did you do to step it up?
Yeah, it was more about like, so really understanding the language that your wife speaks.
Yeah.
And so like, I remember an example that was given. This is not specifically to Jamie, but like to highlight like, hey, your wife asks you to fold laundry, and I know you don't fold laundry.
Correct.
But your wife asks you. Yeah. Somebody's wife asks their husband to fold laundry, and he folds laundry in the way that he folds laundry. Or better example, hey, I'm not asked to fold this laundry, but I'm gonna fold the laundry and like, step up. I'm gonna help out. But I fold the laundry in the way that I fold it, not in the way that my wife folds it. And she's the one that normally folds the laundry and has like the, her operation, her setup. And you're like, well, dude, I'm folding the laundry, and she's like not noticing it or not like saying anything about it. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're like doing it in the wrong way. And now she's having to like undo it. And I know it's kind of like a corny example, but just, I think it highlights of like, in our mind, we can think that we're like, hey, I'm trying, I'm showing up, but it's not received because it's not like in the specific language. So it was really understanding, all right, what makes my wife feel loved? She likes, this is kind of like the love languages, likes the words of affirmation, likes to be built up, likes spending quality time. She's not a gift person.
Yeah.
I don't really I like gifts. I love giving gifts, especially if it's like you think about it. So I'm like, giving like awesome gifts, but like she doesn't really care about gifts, right? So then it's like, all right, well then now I know that like I don't need to spend as much time, figuring out these, in my mind I think these are awesome gifts. How come you don't, aren't receiving it the way that I thought? Well, she doesn't really care about gifts.
Right.
So like these other things that I'm not doing, so then she's not feeling loved. Yeah.
And so then give me the evolution here of like you're still 2 kids. When
two kids, and then Oliver. So going back to Jamie heard from God.
Yeah.
AJ's gonna apologize. I'm gonna restore your family, give you a son. Our next child was our son. Firstborn son, Oliver, was born in 2018.
2018.
He's about to be 7.
Wow.
Just a ripper.
He's a ripper. And then how was that? Did you make changes? Did she get to the point where she feels deeply loved by you? Like, when did you really start kind of getting in the groove, so to speak? Or did you?
Yeah, it was like around like after Oliver came, like 2019, just feeling connected, feeling like we're doing this together. That was when we decided to homeschool kids. And so we're just like on mission to, raising this family, doing business and raising this family, homeschooling. And it was one of those moments where in advance God prepares you for what was coming.
Yeah.
So 2019, Victoria was going to public school. We pull her out. COVID happened.
Was she happy about that or?
Stoked, yeah.
She was?
Yeah.
She didn't like school?
She liked school, but like the way that you can do homeschool now is just way different than how we grew up doing it, and there's just, we were able to, put her in horseback riding lessons and, take her to the skate park. She likes to, skate transition, skate bowls. So, take her to the skate park, take her horseback riding, and then be more in charge of what they're learning.
Right.
So then it's like life school. So it's like, yeah, you're getting like the core elements, but then you're also, learning relational skills, business stuff, sales stuff, reading certain personal development, just having autonomy around the education.
She loved it.
Yeah. And I think she's at a point where like kind of going back to school. So she's going to be going to classical here for her sophomore year, but in that season, I think she was in second or third grade.
She's what, 15, 16?
She's 15, 10th grade.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you think she's going to go back to traditional school, quote unquote?
Yeah, it's like hybrid. A couple days a week in class, do some sports.
And so when you guys made the decision to do the homeschooling, she was happy.
Yep.
Then what the trajectory? Oh, how was it to have the birth of your son? Like, what did that do to you?
Oh, dude, it was unbelievable, and we didn't find out. So for
you didn't?
The gender.
This is the first time you did that?
The first time. So for
why did you do that?
We had some people tell us like, do it, like it's fun. That was like their kind of reasoning, and a lot of people give that response.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
And now that I've done that, I'm everyone that I can convince to don't find out, be surprised. It's
so you've done it 2 more times since then.
Yep. Yeah. So that was, had a great doctor, and knew that we were believing for a boy, and it was just a cool moment, cool experience when he came and just seeing my son. I'm like, yeah, and everyone in the living room is, hooping and hollering, and it was a cool experience. And then it was like, God delivered on that promise of I'll give you a son, and we had our son. So that was 2018. By this point, I'm working at a mortgage.
I was going to
bank.
say right around this time should be at least working at a mortgage place.
Yeah. So
how'd you get into that?
I got licensed in 2016. So I'd been there for a while.
How long did you stay with solar?
It was just over a year.
Yeah.
Just over a year.
What happened? You were over it. That's enough.
I ended up, I had surgery on my leg. It's kind of a long story. I'll keep it short. I was working as a stonemason, and I had a piece of the chisel shoot into my leg. It was like a little piece, and I pulled it out and then just let it heal. So then like a year and a half later, I thought it was like scar tissue at first. It ended up being a piece of metal was still stuck in my leg, and then there was like this infection around it. So then I had surgery to remove that, and then I was laid up for like 2 months.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because it was like, it's kind of gnarly. They dug this out, and then the hole in my leg was so deep that had they sewn it shut, there would be this pocket that would have gotten reinfected. So it was like an open wound that I had to let heal from the bottom up. So we're like packing it with gauze. And it was like 2 months where I was just like, I couldn't walk.
Wow.
So it was like this kind of moment of like God kind of taking care of the, all right, that was the season. You learned what you needed to learn. You were able to provide for your family, but I have something else for you. And so then through my brother, Patrick, met a guy who had been operating in the, at a mortgage bank for about 15 years at the time. Interviewed with him. He wanted somebody who had mortgage industry specific experience. And so then I interviewed with the branch manager, and the interview was like, all right, we're gonna make some calls right now. We're gonna cold call people, and we're gonna set an appointment. So I'm like in this, never met this guy. He's like, he balls out of control and does a lot of business. And we're like, all right, we're gonna set an appointment. It took me like 10 minutes to set an appointment. So then that kicked off.
How many calls did you make?
I think like 25 calls.
25 calls?
Yeah, because a lot of people didn't answer. A lot of people said no, and then got to one.
So your practice of getting rejected for solar.
I was like, whatever. All right, next one.
Set you up for that.
Set me up for that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So you were able to set the appointment. Was he like, all right, okay.
He's like, all right. So then that was like, all right, this guy, can at least be on the phone and, do something. And so that set up some more interviews with like the sales manager and the ops manager. And then they ended up hiring me, and I was a loan officer on his team. So that was in 2016. And from there, so we're now in 2018, 2019, still jamming. 2019 was kind of a big year because it was transition from
working as a loan officer.
Well, transition Victoria into homeschooling, and then in 2019 left the retail mortgage bank that I was at and started a company with another loan officer, and we got into the brokerage side. So we became mortgage brokers in 2019.
With him
together. Yep.
And I remember, how did that go?
Yeah. It's a lot of learning. Super grateful for that time, that season, that partnership. Learned a lot. We're able to help out a lot of families. It just ended up in, I don't really want to get into too much of the dirty details, but that it
went south.
It went south, and we ended up splitting ways in 2023. So we were running together for a couple of years, and then split that company up.
And then from there,
so that was where in that season you and I met, because that was season 12, Pathfinder's apprenticeship, and I'm going through the apprenticeship, and all of this
was unfolding. It
was unfolding. That the first half of that year was, we were just like super stretched and trying to figure stuff out, and then it was in the middle of the season. It's actually the day before we had Freedom and Deliverance Night.
Wow.
Where got the call. We had the call where it's like, hey, we're gonna split ways.
Yeah.
And was able to go into Freedom Night, and just like kind of put it in God's hands. Like, hey, this is.
And Freedom Night. Explain Freedom Night for the.
Freedom Night. Well, do we want to back up and talk about apprenticeship? Or,
freedom. Give me because you mentioned Freedom Night.
Freedom Night is through the apprenticeship, which is a coaching
marketplace ministry within the church.
Marketplace ministry within the church. And Freedom Night is a night where the apprentices have an opportunity to get some deliverance around things that we might be carrying that we're not meant to carry.
Yep. Guilt, shame, doubt,
anything, limiting beliefs, past traumas, unforgiveness,
generational curses,
all of that stuff that would prevent us from operating at the capacity that we're meant to operate at.
Yep.
So
In our true calling,
walking in convergence. So that's a 23. That was a pivotal time in our walk, in our season, because a lot happened that year. We were in apprenticeship. Jamie was pregnant with our fifth during the apprenticeship. We were in escrow on a house during the apprenticeship. She miscarried. We're in the apprenticeship. We're in the middle of in escrow on this house, and she had a miscarriage. And then
how many months in was she?
We were like a month and a half in.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we, go through my business, we split.
How did that affect you guys? Was it?
It was tough. It's hard. It was like a real loss. We were really, we had been planning for it, trying, wanting to, keep growing the family, and we're really excited about things that were happening. Especially, with the, we were transitioning, moving, buying a property out in Valley Center. We were really excited about that. And it was, felt like a real loss, and was an opportunity for us to, kind of process that and, really understand, like, we have 5 kids here on earth, but we have 6 total right now. And there's going to be a moment where we're gonna meet that baby, and it's but was a good opportunity to process and really trust, kind of through that moment of, like, God had the right timing on things, because at Awaken Church, at the beginning of the year we do like vision cards, so it's like casting your vision for your family,
Right.
In 2023, we had 2 major things: was buy a house and have another baby. And so we're like walking through God delivering on this house and what we thought this baby, and then to have this, loss and miscarriage. We're like, man, we were really looking forward to both of these things, coming to pass. And it ended up being, at the end of December, Jamie told me, it was kind of like we were on a date night, and she gave me a card, and I thought it was like an early like Christmas card or something. It was right around Christmas time, and it was like, I'm pregnant again, and it was like before the end of the year. We, didn't have the baby in that year.
Yeah.
But before the end of the year, found out, it's like, hey, we're having another baby.
Wow.
And just an opportunity to not live in fear around, like, oh, this is going to happen again, or, is she going to go full term, of like just believing and declaring, like, hey, we're going to have this baby. And then August of 2024, last year, coming up, baby Levi, he's about to be 1. That's baby number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
So the one that was number 4, right? The one you're talking about at the end of no,
that's number 5.
that was number 5.
We missed number 4. Arrow, shout out Arrow. Baby Arrow. She's 3. She's a wild child.
She is.
I love her.
She's nuts. Huh?
I love them all. It's so wild, the personalities,
Yeah.
differences. But it's a lot of fun. But
Amazing, dude. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So 5 kids. All right. So mortgage. Let's talk some, because I know that, as we said earlier, you were meant to tell this story. I didn't even know any inkling of this entire story, bro.
yeah.
I remember there was something, but I literally
Yeah.
didn't know. So this was meant to happen, because I remember coming in, you're like, hey, what do you want me to prepare? What do you want me to do? I said, just show up, and we'll let myself and the Holy Spirit will take it from there.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and we got it. We'll talk some real estate stuff. We have to, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
But this story, your testimony, was meant to be.
Wow.
It's meant to be told.
Come on.
And in this entirety, in this much detail as well, because somebody's watching this, somebody's listening, somebody that this is going to impact them, and they're going to see your testimony and hear it and be like, oh wow, and it's gonna change someone's life. I know it.
Yeah.
I'm declaring that. I can
God.
feel it.
Yep.
Yeah, that you were meant to tell this story, and I didn't, no idea we're going to go this far on this story, like none.
Wow.
As you're telling them, like, oh my God, you are something else. Like, God had a plan for this, and you were last minute thing here. And look at this, we went the entire thing on your whole testimony of you and your marriage and Jamie, and you said you're even you're going through it right now. Like it's like give me some go on that a little bit. Like for people that are married that are thinking, because most marriages are stale. I'm just going there. The majority of marriages in our country are stale.
Yep.
They're glorified roommates at best. They're not showing up for their husband. They're not showing up for their wife. They're not giving everything they've got. They're mostly stale. Because what's the divorce rate? Over 50% at this point?
50,
It's over 50. And that and I'll go as far as to say is another 25% should be divorced. So maybe the top 25% or 20, probably even less.
Yeah.
Probably the top 10% of marriages are actually legit, healthy, pouring into each other, making each other better, what a marriage should be.
Yep.
Making each other better, pouring into each other, celebrating each other, enhancing each other.
Yep.
That's what a marriage should be.
Yep.
A team
Yep.
that does a lot of good on this earth, and you do better as two than one.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That's a solid, healthy marriage.
Yep.
What would you say? Maybe 10% of marriages are actually super, super healthy. Let's call that a healthy marriage.
Yeah, that
maybe.
sounds right. Yeah, especially if people, it's like I feel like so many people are living the facade.
Correct.
So if you actually dig in and are able to get close enough to, the fruit might look good, but if you're in close enough and it tastes rotten, I think it's that's a fair.
I see a lot because I'm a coach and I'm a ministry leader, so I see. But I know what's behind the veil on a lot of them. And it's like, I know that they're basically, there is no marriage. There's no intimacy anymore. They're not together. They're not enhancing each other. I see it. But then the facade on social media is everything's going great and yay. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that this podcast, this interview was specifically for people that are building families or they're going through a marriage that have gone through tough times or one went astray or this way. And that's what this podcast was all about. This is who it was for. To inspire those that are maybe going through it to continue going through it. Because look at now, you fifth child. Yeah. But you even said it. So go a little bit further on. If you're going, it's normal. You're going to go through stuff.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep pushing forward. Like, what's keeping you guys pushing forward here? Like, knowing, going through it again. Like, give me some stuff on that.
Yeah.
What's driving you?
It's real important to have a foundation that you guys are in alignment on. And so obviously we are both in pursuit of Jesus and who he's creating us to be, who he created us specifically. And then there's this idea of, to become one. And now we are in this together and we have this foundation and we have this, the Schackman tribe has a specific mandate. And, we talk about ministry, you and I are fortunate enough to have an amazing ministry that we get to, serve in, have that opportunity, that privilege. But the first ministry as a man is to your wife. Yep. And then your second is your kids or your the family together. And a lot of men are out, it's like, I want to serve, or I want to, want to crush it in the marketplace, or I want to, go out and dominate. And it's like, you dominate your family and not be a domineering person, but dominate being a good husband and a good father in training your, in leading and training your family. So it's like having a line, the foundation is core values. So me and Jamie have, the Schackman core values, the things that we care about in is then the filter on how we, make decisions. And so having this foundation that is unified, because in the Bible it talks about where there's unity, I'll command a blessing. Yep. And so being unified in the foundation, in the core values, and a lot of it is derived from biblical truth, biblical principle of if you operate this way, this is how your life will go. And then right now we're in a season of training. We're training our kids. I got this pulled up. I just want to read it just so I can get it exactly how it's read. But, and this is actually, one of the reasons of why we chose to name Arrow, give her the name Arrow. But in Psalms 127, it says, the fruit, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has the quiver full of them. And so that was, reading that scripture of like, or going back to like being fruitful and multiplying, of like whatever is in your hand, like you were meant to multiply that, whether that's a business or a family. And it might be like actually physically multiplying the numbers. And we just feel like, that's what we're, God is calling us to do, to have a large family. And, but it's the business or your territory or your relationship, like there should be fruit and like multiplying that. So kind of having this foundation that, when you're in the rut or you're in a crazy cycle where it doesn't feel like your relationship might be firing the way that it should be. It's like getting outside of yourself, of having like this person, we've made a commitment and a covenant to each other. We have this family. We actually do love each other. They're actually for me. They're not against me. They don't have ill will. There just might be some disconnections. And so for me and Jamie right now, I think a lot of, I mentioned we're going through it, and a lot of it is just, I think we're, in a season of like kind of max, we're just revved max, just going, revved out to the max, and feeling some of the overwhelm. So then it can, in moments where we could have productive conversations, we're just tired. And then so the conversations aren't productive. So I feel like that's the season that we're in. And I know that it's, there's times to push and stretch and to go after things, time for rest. But it's having this kind of foundational, like we are in this together, we're unified in this, we have a mission, we have values. And so then that drives you forward versus I want to show up when I feel like I want to show up. And then if I don't want to show up, if I don't feel like it, then I'm not going to show up. It's like, well, and there might be time, there's times where it's like, I mess it up and I don't show up the way that I need to show up. But then it's, grace and understanding, forgiveness, being quick to ask for, where I can get in trouble is like, the Bible talks about our spouses being helpmates, and it's not just like, I forget the kind of the Hebrew, the actual definition of like what it meant to be, but it's like more than just like, on the side, it's like Jamie is like there to call me higher. And when she's like calling stuff out, I get in trouble when I'm not listening to that, or I'm not open to receive that. And then I'm, I feel attacked. Where it's understanding she's not attacking me. She sees me the way that God sees me and is calling me to a higher level. And then I need to give her permission and give myself permission to receive that, where it's like, dude, get out of your head. It's not an attack. She sees something in you that's going to elevate all of your life. And that's what she's there for. Because Jamie's so wise, and just so many times throughout our marriage of just like the downloads that she'll get, or the blind spots that I have, in being able to, she's the one that's closest to me. So she, and I'm, we've served together, and, just the blind spots that we could see in each other, where it's like, I'm with her and she's known me for so long, and God is giving her downloads, and God's giving me, and it's like this. And also keep date night sacred.
Oh yeah. Big time.
You got to, especially where we're at. It's like kids, business, ministry. We got the little hobby farm, doing some animal stuff, and just like a lot to take care of, a lot that we get to steward. We're privileged that we get to steward it. And the marriage is, the relationship is what we get to steward. And so, date nights every Friday night.
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
Got to do it.
And I loved what you said about, whether you believe in God or not, you're doing ministry.
Yeah.
That means you're pouring. Let me put the worldly. You're pouring into others.
Right. Yeah.
You're making an impact.
Yeah.
You're making a difference.
Yeah.
You're crushing in the marketplace. You're helping lives. You're healing people. You're inspiring people. But the big question is, are you going that hard for your home?
Right.
For your wife?
Come on.
For your kids? For your family?
Mm.
And most, listen, I've been there, man, where I give 100,000,000% to the business, 12, 16, 18-hour days, and I come home and give my wife and family what's left over.
Right.
I have quite a bit left over.
Yeah, come on.
But it's not the 110% that I gave. Think about that, folks.
Yep.
Give that effort to your family. The whole nucleus, the whole foundation that you said. I love that you said that, man. The foundation is the home.
Yep.
And if you're a man that's leading your family properly, you need to be leading you should be the faith leader of your home.
That's right.
And it all starts there. If
Yep.
you don't have an intact, beautiful, harmonious marriage and family that's striving on core values to make the world a better place, there's no way you're going to become massively successful outside of that. It's impossible. Or you won't reach the level that you could.
Or
The potential.
you did, and you reached some worldly success, and then your life is in shambles.
You're lonely.
Lonely.
It's in shambles.
Cool.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
The marriage isn't good.
Yeah.
Because you sacrificed so much
Yep.
for the dollar.
Yep.
And forgot about where it really matters, which is the core, the home, the foundation,
Yep.
the family,
Yeah.
the family value. Because our legacy is the family, is the kids. That's everything.
That's
when we're
right.
gone,
Yep.
they're it.
Yep.
So how much did you pour into them? What kind of example did you set while you were here? Your brother, Patrick, said to you, that was it.
Yep.
What do you want for your daughter?
Yep. Potential.
I want her to live out to potential. I want her to hit her potential.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Well, how are you setting that example by
Right.
killing yourself?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Patrick, crazy.
Yeah.
What kind of example, folks, are you setting for your children? Because they're not going to listen. They're not hearing what you're saying.
Right.
They're watching what you're doing.
Yep.
How are you showing up every day for your family? What are you showing to their mother? How much respect are you giving their mother? How much affection are you giving their mother?
Yep.
Are you dating their mother?
Yep.
They're watching.
Yep.
Guess what? That cycle is going to repeat. Whatever you're doing is going to repeat.
Yep.
Not what you're telling. You need to do this. Nope. They're
Yep.
going to repeat the cycle of what they're seeing and how you're treating your wife in the home. Period.
Yep. Boom.
Bro, come on, bro. This was so good, man. All right, we got it.
All right.
We got it. Give me something.
Talk about
Where are we
some
at?
money.
Right, we got to land the. We're almost 2.5 hours in.
Dang.
This is beautiful, bro. This was phenomenal. Ugh. Talk. We got to give me like 5 minutes on where's the state of the industry now. Mortgage rates. Give me what you do. What separates you from other brokers.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now? Give me the certain climate. Are we in a seller's market, buyer's market? What's happening? Should you buy a home? How do you do it? How do you get the loan? Give me something.
Should you buy? Not everyone should buy real estate right now.
Okay.
But if you are in a position to do so, meaning you have a little bit of coin saved up and you got a steady job, and your credit doesn't need to be perfect, we are in a buyer's market.
Right.
Big time buyer's market. A lot of people have been concerned with where interest rates have been, where they're going. We are no longer in the heydays of 2020, 2021, where you could get a 2 or a 3% interest rate. Never going to see that happen, at least in my opinion, unless something crazy happens.
Right.
So interest rates on average are in the mid to high 6s right now. And so in terms of affordability, that doesn't help buyers. But what it does help buyers do right now is we are seeing so much more inventory than we've seen in the last couple of years. And homes are sitting on the market longer. And so as a buyer, you have more choice, more opportunity to have leverage in negotiating contracts. And so we've, in the last 30 days, have helped 6 families buy homes across 4 different markets. Every single market, we are seeing seller credits. We are seeing price reduction. We are seeing homes appraise higher than the sale price. And in some cases, like I helped a past client move to Texas, and he was able to get a brand new roof put on, installed before closing while in escrow, and then an additional like $10,000 in seller credit. So
this interview is brought to you by Real Deal Wellness. This is my wife and I started a wellness center about a few months ago, and this is a big deal because we're making wellness affordable for everyone. That's the mission here. We offer red light therapy, cryotherapy, infrared sauna, compression therapy, halotherapy, which is dry salt therapy, at a price that's never been seen before in the wellness industry. It's a membership-based business. You join, you have unlimited access to our center for less than $100, $99 a month, Real Deal Wellness. Come down, join the club, join the mission. Let's go.
So brand new roof, paying, a large portion of closing costs. We're using these credits to buy down interest rates. That helps affordability. And so in this rate environment, yes, it sucks for some people on affordability because, you might want your payment to be X amount, and then that only buys you so much, especially here in San Diego. It can be a challenge, to get into the market. But if you can, and take advantage of the discounts, the credits, and being able to negotiate an amazing deal on the purchase side of things. And then when rates come down, you can execute on a refinance, because as rates come down, more people are going to, who were on the fence about buying because they're waiting for rates to come down, will enter the market, and that's going to cause home values to increase. So we're kind of in this pullback, kind of flat line right now, where we're seeing an opportunity to negotiate a really good deal. And then as rates come down, those prices are going to increase, or your opportunity or your leverage diminishes greatly in being able to negotiate the deal. And then you're paying more for a house. So even though your interest rate might be lower, you're paying more for a house, your property taxes are higher. And then you're kind of in this, and every market has challenges. So in 2020 and 2021, when rates were super low, the challenge was, or the pro was, everyone could qualify and buy whatever they want. The challenge was getting an accepted offer. So it's cool, you can be approved for this, but can you actually get into contract on a home where there's 50 other people and they're releasing all of their contingencies and they're, giving up their firstborn, right? To, try and get an offer accepted. That's a challenge. Right now it's like, okay, affordability, but it's in theory easier to get an accepted offer with a really good deal baked into it. So that's kind of the state of the market that we see right now. Over time, real estate appreciates, especially here in San Diego. So we're still projecting.
Is it still staying pretty?
Yeah, so it's on an upward trend. So I think at the end of the year, we'll probably end up like 4 or 5% appreciated here in San Diego. So it's kind of like this, we're not seeing like a big drop. So when we say it's a buyer's market, it's not like things are, wholesale and, it's 50% off.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that. We're seeing you might get 2 or 3%, closing cost credit, or, a 2%, price reduction. So it's not, crazy. But yeah, it's kind of a flat line, which is good. It's good, good, kind of gives some health back in the market, switches it over. But over time, things will appreciate. As far as I do not have the crystal ball. If I did, we'd be balling.
Oh yeah,
balling much more than we are
playing the lottery.
Yeah. The prediction. So right now we have the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who is under some political pressure from the presidency to drop the federal funds interest rate. And so there's kind of been a lag on that. A lot of experts believe that it should have been done. So right now they're projecting 2 cuts before the end of this year. So they meet at the end of this month. We're in July, probably not going to cut rates then, maybe in September. As we see that it's not a direct impact to mortgage rates, it more impacts, short-term loans, credit cards, cars. We'll see an immediate impact. But over time, it will have an impact on mortgage rates. So a lot's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen with rates, depending on if Jerome Powell, he's under this pressure. There's rumors of him stepping down early. So kind of the people that are earmarked or picked to replace him, they're very in favor of dropping interest rates. So if that happens, we could see some relief here in rates sooner rather than later. But I think, you just kind of plan on rates to hang out where they're at in this kind of, mid 6, high 6 zone, for at least another year. Maybe we see some relief 2026, but so that's the prediction. As far as me, I'm a mortgage broker.
Yep.
Exceed Financing, we operate with the main goal of ensuring clients are in the best lending vehicle possible. And so we have an opportunity. We work with 120 different banks that we can shop around with, make sure that we are getting the best terms possible for our clients in being able to execute in a timely, because you're in contract, you need to be able to close by a certain date. So meeting all of the timelines, but giving, I call myself a mortgage advisor.
Yeah.
So giving sound strategy to maximize your finances in order for you to create wealth through real estate. And so we do that in a lot of different facets, working with first-time home buyers. We work with a lot of veterans. We're in San Diego, all the military bases, work with a lot of active duty and veterans using their VA loan, how to use their VA loan to buy investment properties, to build wealth, not just to buy a primary residence. We work with developers. So we're doing, large projects outside of California. So across the gambit of, like, if you're a first-time home buyer or you're an investor and you want to rehab properties, invest into real estate, buy rental properties, or get into developing real estate, building projects, building apartment complexes. We cover that full gambit in mortgage advice and making sure that people are connected to smart money.
I love it, dude. So, Exceed Financing, mortgage broker.
Yep. And
folks, you heard the story. You heard the testimony. Support, like, if you want to support any mission here, this guy's family mission, which I'm so freaking excited about this. There's knowing your testimony and your mission, and you and Jamie, and how far you've come through and what you've gone through, and you're still battling, and you're still in the trenches, and you're still just doing your best to become the best version of yourself, set the best example, folks. If you're a Christian, keep it in the family. If you're a veteran, my man's a veteran, hit him up, have him shop it out, right? If nothing else, get advised by AJ.
Yeah, check it out. If you're going to get a better deal, I'll be the first one to tell you, but shop it. See what you can get.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
So Exceed Financing, all your stuff's going to be on all the listings, so we'll Instagram everything. Okay, we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to wrap it up. I want you to publicly announce, I know you've already done it a couple times, but I want to finish with this, is because your brother, in kind of no uncertain terms, saved your life.
Yeah.
I want you to just give him a quick thank you and tell him how much he means to you. And,
come on.
And we're going to end with, not quite with that, but you're going to give me that publicly.
Right. Patrick, my brother, super grateful for you. Our family would not be where we are today if it weren't for you tuning in and being obedient to the Holy Spirit. And so eternally grateful for the things that you have overcome and walked out in your life, to have you in the position that you were in, to be able to go on that rescue mission, because without that, we wouldn't have what we have. We wouldn't, I'd be dead, and that'd be the end of the legacy. But because of you and what you've done, that legacy is forever changed, and now we get to look and see and walk in the fruit of that, of the life that we get to live, and the family that me and Jamie have, and the kids, the relationship with our kids. It's beautiful. So shout out Patrick Clark. Love you, bro.
And Patrick, the amount of lives that you directly and indirectly changed by buying that $1,500 plane ticket that was non-refundable, quote unquote. Yeah. The amount of lives, because AJ and we're going to team up. We're going to collaborate.
Come on.
I know I'm declaring it right now that we're going to collaborate. We're going to do some form of business together. So between me and him and Joey Pedroza, doing business, collaborating, the amount of lives, bro, Patrick, I really want you to fully comprehend the amount of hundreds, if not thousands of lives that you directly and indirectly impacted by saving this beautiful man, but by saving this beautiful man's life, literally is saving and impacting hundreds, if not thousands of people, and for the kingdom of God, most importantly. So Patrick,
amen. Big
shout out to you, brother. Now, one last one and we're done.
Oh boy.
Tell Jamie how much she means to you, and could you do this without her, and how much you love her. Give me let's end with Jamie's shout out.
Come on. Jamie Marie. It's unbelievable the looking back, everything that we have walked through and everything that you have been so strong in, and would not be where we are at today as a family, as a couple. You just carry so much strength and wisdom and are resilient through all things, and call me to be the man that I am supposed to be. So without you, none of this is possible. You are the glue that keeps us together, and you are you're like the life. You are the life force of the Schackman tribe, of just making sure that we are taken care of and have are so intentional about keeping joy. She just carries so much joy and brings joy to the house, and brings opportunities for us to create memories, because I can get into just the grind of, hey, we just have a mission and we got to operate, and there's not time to, pump the brakes. And without her, there would not be a lot of memory making, because that's what it's about. It's about building this life together, creating opportunity and memories, and instilling the Schackman way into the next generation. And without her, that doesn't happen. So I love you, Jamie. Shout out Jamie.
Jamie, I thank you for not giving up on this man. Yeah. Because if you had, then he and I wouldn't have met. So I want to thank you personally for not giving up on my man.
Come on.
So that I have an incredible brother in Christ here. So thank you. Whew. AJ Schackman, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, brother.
Love you, bro.
Love you.
Can't wait to freaking build a freaking empire with
Let's
you.
Go.
Let's freaking go.
Hey, we're gonna let it fly.
We're gonna let it fly, baby. For the rest of our lives, we're gonna let it fly.
Come on.
Real Deal Talk. That's a wrap. Let's go.